This is Jordan Grace, and you're listening to the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
BWB, this is One Nation Radio. You better get it right. Rich Latta, James Boyd came to give them life. The Blackest Wrestling Podcast has come to kick all ass and drop it 6 feet if they kicking trash. Word, let me welcome y'all to something different. And if you dig it, man, you should let some friends listen. We be getting it in, this on the regular dude. Ravish and flow, but this shit rude. See, James don't rap, so I had to break it down. The whole network, man, we coming for the crown. Raps in the columns, I keep them both covered. Making the beats too, so the listeners can bump it. Hit us with the rating, yeah, I'm saying it's a 5. Before you hit it, talk, bob your head side to side. It's One Nation Radio, and this is the beginning. It's Rich, and I'm here with James. It's time to listen to One Nation.
We got to unleash the power of the pyramid.
This is Mike Sempervive from WrestlingObserver.com. Check me out on Wrestling Observer Live every day. And also check out your boys, Rich and James, on One Nation Radio.
This is Kenny Omega. We're listening to One Nation Radio. Check it out, guys. These guys know what's up. Big Kenny Omega fans. That's all that counts to me. Goodbye and good night. Hey.
Hey, folks. Welcome to this week's edition of One Nation Radio. I'm James Bonner. Here, me. I have Rich Latta. What's going on, man?
Not much, man. We've been talking for a little while already. We put up a pre-show exclusive on the One Nation Radio YouTube channel. We're talking about Donald Trump getting hit with the RICO, 50 years of hip hop, and the blind side. Besides that, James, I'm chilling. Actually, gonna see you this week.
Yeah. I thought it was funny that you sent me this thing about Lacey Evans no longer with WWE. Is Stardom going to bring her in? I was like, it's crazy. Like, I can't believe he's saying this when he knows I'm going to see him this week. It might be this when I on site, bro. When I see you, how dare you say that to me? You almost ruined my fucking day with that shit. Even as a joke, I was like, nah, man, don't play like that. No, let's not joke like that. No,
man. The Lacey Evans pack in the air. The Lacey Evans pack, man. I remember.
We didn't clip that, did we? We weren't doing live streams.
We did not.
Yeah. It's there though. It's like February 2019.
Yep. There was it was an unplanned segment where it was just like a come to Jesus moment on like, why the fuck are they putting her on the main roster instead of Bianca Belair? What is happening? Like, I was just like pissed.
Yeah. It was like, look, man. We watch NXT. We know who are the best wrestlers in NXT from a developmental standpoint. And still to this day, I can't recall someone that wasn't pushed on NXT that made it to the main roster and turned out to, have some better career on the main roster than NXT. Like at a top level, right? Like some people got in and fit in where they belong or whatever else to have their role on the roster. That it is what it is. But like nobody was pushed as like a top wrestler in NXT, or no one was like, wasn't pushed as top wrestler in NXT. They became a top wrestler on the main roster. That hasn't happened to my knowledge. I guess the closest you may get is like Dom, but Dom wasn't in NXT anyway, so no matter. But yeah, like she gone, and like we talked about it then back in February of 2019. We're like, yo, why is she on TV? Why was she brought up with like at that time? Like they had brought up Ricochet, Aleister Black, Gargano and Ciampa. And brought up like Heavy Machinery and Nikki, I forgot what Nikki Lu's last name was at the time. It's AS or superhero shit now, it was. She's changed back now. I forgot. But
Nikki Cross.
And like we were like, yo. At the time, this was like right after the whole you're the authority. There's a change coming because they had that shitty rating on Raw, which turned out we find out like, oh, they did that because they thought the Elite were coming. LOL to that. They not only did they not show up, they stalled out another 4 years, and then they just re-up with AEW. They ain't never coming unless they old and washed up, and they coming to steal your money. So
look, I wouldn't in 5 years, Kenny Omega be like, yeah, I'll come now. Like, bitch, I'll fucking die laughing.
Bro, and I hope it plays out the same way with AJ Styles, where it's like, I give you 1 year, and then the rest of it is I steal money. Lay it down. I would love that for Kenny Omega. Come in, put on one of the best years in the history of that promotion, and then never do it again, and never do that shit for them ever again. And then our top guy get paid like it, get making $3-4 million a year. I'd love that for Kenny Omega. Fucking we ball.
Him. He showed up and he's washed up. This is bullshit.
Yeah, you got 12 months. I got 12 months left in the tank at the top level. That's all I got for you. That'd be fucking great. But yeah, man, like going back to it is like, yeah, we said like, what the fuck are they doing? There's Bianca Belair there. There is a Rhea Ripley there. What are they doing? And sure enough, over time, we were proven right again, Rich. It's amazing.
Game always comes back. It always comes back to O&R.
It's amazing. And the thing, and I'm gonna say the same thing I always say. This didn't take some next level intellect to figure this the fuck out. We just saw this. We're like, bro, what are they doing? This is some simple shit. One person, these two shine on TV, and along with the other top women in the division at the time, like Kyrie and Io, or like Candice LeRae, or like a Shayna, but she don't. So what are we doing here? Why are we wasting the time? And they gave her push after push and restart after restart and character change, and now she's out of there. And I don't particularly care to see her wrestle ever again.
Amazing.
Do you?
I do not.
Do you think you'll be? Do you think you like there'll ever be a point in time where like Lacey Evans will ever make us like eat crow on this? Because I don't.
I see her as a future one-time Royal Rumble like comeback person. I will say this though, 2K22 Lacey Evans as in the video game, problem. Great move set. They give her the moonsault on there. If she got the women's rights, a quick finisher, hard to reverse. They let her do the power bombs and all that. She was physically imposed. I'll say this about Lacey Evans. She wasn't never scared of contact, which is a lot more than you can say for, a lot
of them that came through that same developmental system. Yes.
Yeah. And it's like, it's unfortunate it didn't work out for her, but she's posting on social media. She seems excited about whatever she's got going on next, and best wishes to her. So, but
yeah, I mean, if anybody, would like to know off air the things I would like to see her do as a profession, stay away from pro wrestling business, hit me up. Like, well, not even for profession, because like one of the things I have is re-enlist. Serve your country.
I mean, she loves America, right?
Right.
She doesn't want to take that, that route. She don't want to go there. She could join the Peace Corps.
I got one for you, because we've seen it, right? What if she became a pro wrestling trainer?
She could help people with their roles.
Yeah. And like the problem is, like, if you do them too well and too efficiently, she'll say you're doing them wrong.
Right. And what she can do, maybe she can just dress up like a 50s pinup model, like, and just go and raise the spirits at army bases. Maybe she can do that.
Would her and Tony Storm have beef if that broke out, or is that different? I don't really like Tony. Like, no shade to Tony Storm, but like Tony Storm's doing it in front of like wrestling crowds. Lacey needs to do that the fuck away from wrestling crowds. Like you said, she need to go in the USO with Bob Hope and shit.
Yes.
Go talk to the soldiers out there outside of the USA on them bases.
That's foolish, man. But yeah, man. I guess we got to get to let's get to he's at it again, James. CM Punk. We've done quite a few CM Punk segments since I probably say the last like 11 months now, between the him going on television stuff, the of course Brawl Out, the Fallout, the possibilities of the buyout, the return stuff, the drama that's all kind of occurred here. And now he's back. He's been back about 10 weeks now on this. And this latest incident, I remember I was up to 4 in May that I was pissed about these public kind of meltdowns or like messy situations. He was, doing this thing on Instagram. And I think I was like up to 4 in May. I don't know if I'm at 5 or 6 after this weekend when you include like the promo and you start getting the stories about people not being allowed to come into Collision that are there. The whole thing with Jack Perry now that has popped up. This is just, I I see this stuff and I'm just tired of it, man. I'm tired of it, and I know our friends are probably even tired of it. I'm sending out the information to everyone, and all the same responses pretty much keep coming back. And it's like, why does he continue to do these things or act like this? And it's like, I don't, I heard the whole promo thing with Hangman Page, and how it was supposed to be explained is, it was this kind of work. He was gonna ask for permission later, and I'm like, man, isn't this how this initial situation started? Isn't this like, this whole thing, like, when you do a work, you agree ahead of time that both people are in on the working, right?
Yeah.
And, you want to get jump the rail heat and all this stuff. Like, no one's going to run up on you. Like, no one's trying to fight you, CM Punk. No one's trying to do that. I think people are just really exhausted of CM Punk at this point. And he, in the whole thing with Collision, obviously, I'm aware to some of the inner workings, not all of them. And then, some of the stuff is reflected on television. I think that people can easily kind of figure out. I think you're starting to see, wrestlers not appear on Collision anymore. I think you're starting to see, the philosophies of Collision are just like are almost like being exalted by CM Punk. And, according to this story with Jack Perry, it's like, hey, we don't do that on Saturdays. That's almost that doesn't work for me, brother. That's their version of it. And quite frankly, like I don't think this is an equal thing at all. Like, people are saying, oh, it's this Punk and Elite thing and all this. And it's like, the Elite is like gone radio silent for a long time. Hangman Page in particular has not said a thing. He's not. Right. He's not egging crowds on. He's not doing.
He wasn't even in the fight.
Anything.
He wasn't even in the fight.
He wasn't doing anything. CM Punk has repeatedly trashed this man in the ring, out the ring, on the
air,
media, off air, and it's just like, is this another Bret Hart tribute? To where like you can't let it go? Is Hangman Page or Goldberg? Like what? Like, I don't get it at this point. And if you really want to work with the guy that bad, right? My boy Aaron made a great point. Wouldn't you like, you're in Greensboro, North Carolina, where this guy kind of cut his teeth. There are signs in the crowd. Oh. And the whole thing, also, there's a Ryan Nemeth thing that happened with this thing and some altercations supposedly these guys had yelling at each other in the back. And it's just like, this guy, CM Punk, sees a sign in the crowd and goes off the handle. I would say I'm surprised by all this stuff, but I'm not. I see this stuff and it's just like, is it really all worth it? And I would ask Tony Khan, like, if I get him off the record, obviously, if he's on the record, you'd be like, that's a great question. Unfortunately, I can't.
And then he'll filibuster for 20 minutes.
But if I get him off the record, I'd be like, yo, and I show you these 10 weeks of these ratings that have popped up, right? Some better than others. Others, they're extenuating circumstances. I'd be like, yo, is this worth it? Like, is this really like, like you re-sign the Elite, right? And apparently that was not a guarantee or anything like that, right? You re-signed that, you brought Punk back, but this whole thing, to let Dave tell it, saying, hey, the Elite re-signed, And almost that might not have been expected because, maybe full control was on the table. And that's not going to happen. I'm really tired of it, man. And a lot of people are obsessed with the messy aspect of it. Like, yo, this is what we really want and all this stuff. And this is like going to make everything hotter. And everybody thinks it's a work.
To
and
what end?
Like, and everybody thinks it's like, oh yeah, he's building something up or whatever. It's going to be like, yo, step out of quote unquote fake wrestling for a second, right? Step out of that for a second. Think about this on a human level, right? Which I think that is the great clash right here. Is CM Punk is like, why can't we just do it how it's always been done in wrestling? But I don't know, James. I feel like AEW has displayed, and these guys in particular, like the Elite and all that, they're doing anything but how wrestling used to be. That's just kind of not how they operate. Like, I think they want to try different things, like obviously, and it goes to the ring style, it goes to their storytelling style, and it goes to like, the way they conduct themselves, like amongst the talent and everything like that. But it just seems like such a clash of philosophies. And they've got multiple shows where everyone's going to be in the same building. Duluth, all in, all out, all right there. This is all happening, and it's not gotten any better. And it's like, I don't know, man. I think this is shameful, quite frankly.
It's more just annoying and exhausting to hear about. Like, I'm still in the camp of like, if you got him, put him on TV or whatever else. I wouldn't have, like, obviously I don't think it's ideal that you have this situation where like he's on this show, and because he's the only star, he is basically wielding power like he is the only star because he fucking knows he is and everyone else knows it. But he's on the show. And then the problem when you do that is like, imagine if, okay, let's do this, right? Imagine Monday Night Raw existed back in the 80s, right? Mm-hmm. And Hogan was put on Saturday Night Main Event. And he was put there, and everybody else they didn't like him, thought he was an asshole, just did Raw. What do you think's gonna happen? What do you think a paranoid guy that's a top guy, and none of the other top guys want to work programs with him based off of not necessarily the words, but seeing the actions of the other top guys. None of them want to work with him. What do you think Hogan would have done on Saturdays? He would have been fucking furious too. And I'm not saying this to excuse Punk's behavior, because you made the bed, you lay in it. So that's what it is. And I'm just seeing how this is going off and how it's working. And like the whole thing about like, I was doing this get heat and trying to get someone to jump the rails, whatever. Why would you want someone to jump the fucking rail? Why? In 2023, you want someone to jump the rail. Say they can caught up in the rope and you stomp them out. Cool. Show you how tough you are. Cool. You beat up a guy so uncoordinated, know how to get through the fucking ropes. Cool. Also, Greensboro, North Carolina is like 90 miles away from Aarons Creek, Virginia. So like it's a home region thing. It's not like they were in Aberdeen. It's not like they were in like, it's not like they were in the United Center and someone called out CM fucking Punk. Right? Like, that kind of thing doesn't happen anymore. Because people realize it's all fucking fake. Like,
he's going on about the dollars and cents stuff again. He's going on about this peg warmer thing with the Hangman action figures. I gotta say, James, if that's the idea of the work, that's kind of a whack ass work.
But I didn't. Okay, I saw parts of the thing he did off air about Hangman Page, and then he like completely lost train of thought and meandered after that. So I like checked out. So like my whole thing is like, if you're doing this to try to entice Adam Page into working with you, one, maybe do it on fucking air and not like at a time where like, I don't even know if this is, I don't know what this is. Like if no one records this, does it ever get out? People like, you just hear word of mouth, right? Like, yeah, it'd be word of mouth. This is something that's totally and also it's like, how does this help you? Like this like some shit happening on a house show in WWE, and it'd be like, oh, yeah, that's great that's great to add to the heat for the program. No one gives a fuck about these. It didn't happen on air. It's just weird, man. So yeah, like it's a whole bunch of weird stuff, and he's clearly feeling the pressure of I have to carry the show on my back because the world is against me because I have been against the world. He doesn't think about that part, but like he feels like the world's against him because it's on his own doing. So yeah, these are the irrational thoughts of a paranoid person that has a persecution complex. This is what happens. And he's been doing it on air and off air the whole time. Like, I want to say it was a week ago or 2 weeks ago. We talked about it when he cut the promo and he put the X on the fucking title and all that kind of stuff. He's Xing out the E in AEW, and people wanted to play dumb and be like, "Oh, what do you mean? Like, so you're a dumb motherfucker that doesn't understand subtext. Got it. You're smart as a fucking brick. Got it. Cool. How about now with the added context of what's happened now? Like now he's clapping at people that are like, elite adjacent now.
Yeah, it's like I think it was like Matt Hardy, like Christopher Daniels not being able to get into the building. He's the head of talent relations. I think that's absolutely inexcusable.
How is he allowed? Is Tony Khan at these shows on Saturdays?
Yeah, I would assume so.
If he is, why is he allowing someone to say, "Hey, the person I've hired to talk to talent cannot get into the building because my biggest talent doesn't want him in there because he said so." What?
Tony Khan got to stand up, bruh. Stand up.
Can you imagine? What is this? I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this whole thing because obviously Vince is a rapist, but I'm not going to say but. Vince is a rapist. Moving on from there. Vince McMahon would not have let John fucking Cena or The Rock or Stone Cold Steve Austin throw out Jim Ross or Johnny Laurinaitis or Triple H because they had some beef. Not happening. He may have fired him eventually down the line, but not say like, "Nah, you can't come into the building because Big Cena said so."
It's like, bro, if you do this traveling, you're booked, and you show up to the arena, and they're like, "Yo, Phil said you can't come in."
Now, to be fair, we don't know, or people have been led to believe. I don't know what the situation is. Were they told you can't come in? You got beef with Big CM. Big CM say you can't show your face in this building, or is it like you ain't let me at the door, or they told them never mind, you don't bother coming, and they just don't show up, and they're like, this has to be CM Punk. What are these individual situations? I don't know. You got to tell me. You know more of this because this stuff has become so exhausting, and I had to catch up on a lot of Stardom stuff that I was like, I'm not diverting extra time towards this thing. It's more of the similar path of bullshit we've had to like cover over the last year or 11 months or whatever. With the like stuff.
Some of the plausible deniability stuff that has been going on all the way back to Colt Cabana's being, when he left to go work on Young Rock, he left his agent job. And this was like something I wasn't like really privy to. Like the whole thing was like the way it was kind of rolled out. It was like, oh yeah, he was gone and then his contract was going to expire and they didn't re-sign him. But this wasn't as a wrestler. Like he was winding down as a wrestler. This is his agent job that, he was, leaving and supposedly coming back to, but Ace Steel was hired for. So when you start putting two and two together, it's like, what's going on here? So like, there's just a lot of these situations where it's like, is Punk doing this? Or like pushing the button on this? Or is this being pushed, like the button being pushed to keep Big CM happy? Or is it like this thing where they'll just not answer anything and hope it goes silent?
Right. But the problem
that's a bad strategy when you got...
But the problem that keeps subsisting is Tony Khan has credibility with these wrestlers that are alienated by CM Punk. CM Punk has a credibility of, well, I'm not going to say derogatory words towards certain people or whatever else, but like he has no credibility with these people because he's alienated them over the last, at least 11 months. So what's going to start happening, what has probably already happened is like people are looking around, it's like, the same thing when it comes to like, that damn Jim Ross, Vince liked me, but Triple H or Jim Ross, Laurinaitis didn't want me. No, fool. Vince wanted you gone, and he's being the Don by smiling in your face, and you too stupid to realize that, like, he's sending that person out there to fire you. Like, he's playing good cop, bad cop. He's going to be the good cop because he's at the top. And he knows that, like, at a certain time down the line, he's going to call you and your ass going to come running because he always liked you, right, dummy? So, what's going to come to a point with this is, like, if it hasn't already happened, is people going to be like, hey, man, I'm tired of CM Punk and I'm tired of Tony Khan. Because Tony Khan is allowing this, and Tony Khan's the one that's writing the fucking checks. And Tony Khan's the one with the fucking money. So, at a certain point, people will be like, all right, what is this? People want some people want a full understanding on this with Tony Khan. Wouldn't probably never hear about it, but people are going to want to know what the fuck's going on with all this stuff.
Like, there's going to be somebody that pulls them in the room and be like, yo, like, explain this to me. Like, just help me understand this. Like, just so I can operate.
And the longer this goes, with his people that he, his lieutenants or whatever else you want to call them, the Jerichos and Moxies, the people that you know, the Danielses, the people that, like,
all these guys he re-signed.
He's going to lose credibility with him if they keep with them, his most valuable people, if he they're keeping the locker room, helping keep the locker room in order. If this shit keeps happening, because they're gonna look at him and be like, your name, I don't believe him, and I'm starting not to believe you because it keeps happening. Because it was just only him and it's only a him thing, or something where it's like this stuff doesn't keep happening like this. Like, you can say it's all coincidences, but, like, eventually people get tired of all these goddamn coincidences happening with such frequency. So he better at some point figure it the fuck out. It better come with better answers than whatever he's been putting out there for people to get tired of it.
Yeah, because, like, you know, the whole thing, like, you know, he's trying to build up this thing with the Elite still and all this, and it's like, why don't you try building up, like, you know, these feuds you got on Collision that are, like, flopping, like, like, that have been booked, like, just in absurd manners. Like, if you're wrestling Samoa Joe at Wembley, why did you lose to him why did you beat him in the tournament? I'm sorry, the whole storyline's blown up right there. the red bag deal, right?
Yep.
Ricky Starks beat you in the tournament, and then you beat him after that. And, you know, Ricky's doing his best, trying to, you know, turn and talk and everything like that. Jay White, you haven't interacted with him in forever. You got, like, 3 feuds at least that you're not, you know, necessarily committing to. And, you know, you're not getting what you want. I'm sorry. Like, and look, part of me think that, yeah, man, that might have been cool to do. Sure. It would have been at one time, you know, cool to see CM Punk and Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, like, all kind of working on something or whatever. But obviously, they don't want to do that. So, right. Like, it's like, yo, I think there's a new way to be an adult. You know, people were like, yeah, just get over this shit and suck it up and do it. I'm like, bro, people end up at psychiatrists for shit like that. People end up, like, you know, all this stuff like that you just have to do, supposedly. And it's like, nah, man, I don't think I need to.
No, and also another thing, like, you can't have both ways. You can't say, like, AEW is this great place because the wrestlers are treated better. They have a say. They're not, you know, told the, you know, fly the last second out for some shit, and they get there and then they actually don't even have to be on TV because they change their minds on shit, like shit's planned out and all that kind of stuff. And then, like, you say, hey, the top stars, like, don't have a say in who they get to work with. Why the fuck did they come here then? Because they didn't have a say in who they gonna work with, then they could have went to the E and got more eyes on them doing whatever they're doing. Probably had to work a harder or less hard style, maybe more miles on you know, taking trips or whatever else. But, like, even that is being negotiated because this is AEW. So it's like, yeah, what are the perks of working at the number 2 promotion in the country that's 1/13 the size of WWE if I have no perks? What's the point? Like, you're basically telling me, like, hey, I want you to come out here and sign on because you could get this amount of money in WWE, make about the same amount of money, maybe a little bit more, but also, like, you don't get any benefits of it. Like, nah, there's got to be benefits for this.
I don't know how, if you're Tony Khan, you didn't tap CM Punk on the shoulder like, shut up, fool. I'm gonna have to pay them more to keep them to stay. Like, like you're costing me money now. Like this, like with the Bucks. I don't know how Heyman keeps getting like added into this. Obviously, he can't say anything about Kenny or the Bucks. Like they've axed that essentially, right? But how they don't include Heyman in that, I don't know. It's like this loophole that's getting exploited, and it's
wait, explain that to me. Like this been like a gag order from CM Punk's like to say anything about the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega.
I think it's between they can't say anything about him, he can't say anything about them directly. And this is right?
I'm guessing this is dating back to the fight.
I believe so.
And because Heyman wasn't there. Okay.
And he can basically, do whatever he wants to, say their lead. It just goes through Hangman now, right? And it's just like,
that's kind of already out.
And it sounds like it's gonna blow up again. Like it feels like something's gonna blow up again.
Because like his return promo, he's talking about like the wrestlers being the fans being softer than the wrestlers that they like. Like obviously, who the fuck else is he talking about? Like, is this another subtext thing we have to say? Call people dumb as bricks as for like. You're about as subtle as a gun. Come on.
Exactly. It's so unfortunate, and I think there are I don't begrudge any wrestler going on the Collision for an opportunity to help themselves and their career out, and shit like that. But like
if you ain't involved in that shit, I can see you can go to and from whatever. It is what it is. And also how it is. Like we talked about this. Like that skeleton crew they got out there, like a dozen people, like for a 2-hour show, or like a dozen acts for like a 2-hour show. All right, we're at week 10. People are already tired of that shit.
It's already gonna get uglier, man, and it is gonna be like there are eventually gonna be people that be like, nah, fuck that. I'm not going over there to do that. Like, I'm gonna stay over on Dynamite where I don't have these restrictions. I don't have the possibility of being in this bullshit or being close to the bullshit or anything like that. And it's like, it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. And they, they going to have to, football season's coming. And like college football and regular football. And it's going to be a challenge on screen as much as it is going to be a challenge off screen, it seems like, because at the end of the day, CM Punk seems to not be capable of not being himself.
Yeah, there's that. But how much longer can this go? How much longer can like that show survive without Jericho, MJF, BCC, the Elite? Like all of the top acts in this promotion are on Wednesdays, except for CM Punk. How much longer are people going to ride with this? Obviously, the answer is already they're done with it because it was 11th on Saturday. But like, football season's coming up. Like, how bad is it going to get before there are changes to make this show survive and not just be, blight like Rampage was for a long time, or the last year and a half?
It's gonna be something. I would say I would monitor Collision through the end of this year. If we get to January 1st and Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks,
Adam Page, John Moxley, Danielson,
if none of
Jericho,
these people have appeared on Collision by this point,
Adam Cole, MJF.
If none of these people have appeared by this point, close the fucking casket.
I don't think it's going to take that long. Think of, like you just mentioned, right? Duluth, All In, All Out, Grand Slam. We're going to have a fucking answer before, by, not Labor Day, but we'll have a fucking answer for Halloween, I think. Or Columbus Day, whenever, because I feel like Grand Slam is always before Columbus Day. We'll have an answer by then. Got to. Because, how... Yep. Oh, he's gonna be on all these shows, wrestling these big matches against Who? MJ, or sorry, doing the New Day thing. Who?
You know, good wrestlers, like, not to take anything from them, but like, we know what it is. It's like, it's people that are looking for their opportunity, or it's people that will tolerate the opportunity, like Samoa Joe, who probably just is like, whatever. Like, that feels like that's the Samoa Joe way.
And there's also the part where it's like, Joe knows him.
Right.
And also CM Punk knows Joe. There's only so much shit that Joe will put up. We'll punch him right in his jaw, probably.
But yeah, like, yeah, man, it's I don't know. It makes AEW a little less fun than it was. Like, and people like to clown on you know, the All Friends Wrestling stuff and everything like that. But yo, I gotta say, the vibes were great. Like during those times, and like, you know, the fan base was rallied. It was unified as one. Like, it felt like it was like this common, like, kind of thing everybody was like rooting for. And now it just feels like, you know, there's this, it's just this, we talked about it in the lead up to Punk and Hangman Page, the split. And I brought it up back then. I was like, this shit is nasty. And it's only gotten worse. And it only seems like there's only so much time. Like, yeah, I don't know. It's just, it doesn't feel right. Like, it doesn't feel right. And then rolling in All In. We should like go into All In. AEW All In passed 80,000 tickets this week. It's set to become the biggest wrestling show ever at this point. We have talked a lot about it over this summer.
We talked about it a lot more than you guys think. We've had to talk about it a lot, like in the Social Suplex thread. Man, like that Caleb Baldwin, he is never right about a goddamn thing. Never. Caleb is a troll, but Caleb can't like hide behind that when every time he fucks up. I was just joking. Like, he said that he thought that like Dynamite was going to like was going to be at like 300,000 weekly. 300,000. He said that. And we're like, nah, man, they wouldn't put it on air if it was going to do that. What are you talking about? We climbed up for like, you know, about a year on that one. Hell, Rampage ain't never did 300,000. Never did 300,000. It was fucking Rampage. And like it was the day of night 2 of WrestleMania this year. And I think it was Sir Sam. He had mentioned like, bro, why is night 2 of WrestleMania starting with a promo? Right. And, you know, it got brought up. Well, you know, some WrestleManias have sort of promos, you know, like no solely WrestleMania 30 with Rock and Austin and Hogan, whatever else. But it's like, you know, that makes sense for the start of it. It's day 2. This is supposed to be a continuation from last night. Like, you're supposed to just pick up where you left off, kind of, not, you know, slow it on down and then try to rev it back up. And also it's like, well, which show would you rather watch, night 2 or night 1? Because I'm damn sure I never watching night 2 again. Yeah, so Josh Smith was obviously being facetious, which is funny because like this is a troll not being able to tell tone of someone being facetious. And Josh said like they just don't get it like for a wide audience or whatever else. And that sent the troll that got trolled to then say, has AEW ever sold 80,000 tickets to a show? Which is like, okay, so we're talking about like 3 shows in our, like, you know, in the last 50 years of pro wrestling ever, 2 or 3 that's ever happened. AEW supposed to do that in year 5, huh? Or year 4, huh? Okay, that's fair, real fair. But no, I just like, okay, he's upset because someone's making fun of the wrestling he watches, and he also watches AEW. He's not some thing. He's like, he just likes to troll us or whatever else, because like I think that's his way of bonding with us. When it's like, nah, bro, you're being annoying. Please stop. But so I just remembered that when they announced Wembley, I was like, and you know, you said it was gonna sell out. I was like, I don't necessarily think it's gonna sell out, but I think it can get 70, and I think it may even get 80. And sure enough, like
we have arrived.
When that shit dropped like a couple months ago, or maybe 2 months ago, whatever it was, they were at 70. And we were like, I was like, just doing some, you know, some off the top of my brain calculations. Like, okay, so this thing doesn't have a match announced. It has 70,000 tickets, so we are X amount of days away. Oh, this shit getting to 80. let me go find that 80,000 tweet that Caleb or message he posted in the search function. Sure enough, found that shit. And I was like, you see this? He's like, it's not 80. It's not 80. Then 75 a couple weeks ago. It's not a month ago. It's not 80. And I think last week you were like, when they were like a few, maybe like less than 100 away, you were like, it's still not 80. That when I saw that Russell Tick's tweet say it had just crossed 80, I think when I saw that tweet, the tweet had been out like maybe 8 minutes. I'm like, no, screenshot. I'm sitting in there and I'm on Caleb's ass. I was sick of this, man. I was sick of him because he was like, and then he started copping please. He started cop please. He was like, you know, I was just asking in good faith. I was like, oh, no, brother. I remember this conversation. I remember this conversation. There's a search function. I can click on where you tweeted and then scroll up and read what led to these things. Just, you know, backpedaling like Champ Bailey. It was amazing. It was amazing. So,
but shout out to Caleb.
Yeah, shout out to Caleb. You keep us feeling good about ourselves because your ass always wrong. Congratulations. Thank you.
My feet were tired, James, from all the victory laps. Like, I feel like I feel like I can take about these tickets, these mutants in these comment sections that have, you know, come to defend the good name of the fake numbers of World Wrestling Entertainment that that have to watch as you know AEW goes into Wembley Stadium.
You know the best part. You know the best part I like about it is like because people, you know, they're so creatures of like falling on the same rhetorical tricks. Like for Wembley, like I like how Russell Ticks like they put up like the number of tickets sold, the amount of tickets available, the amount of for sections that are available, the amount of tickets sold, and then also it like in quotations. There's only 1,000. There's less than 2,006 set on resale. So people be like, Tony Khan scalped 40,000 of them things. No, we're not going with it. We're not doing that bullshit narrative. Get the fuck out the way.
Mike Coppinger, bring it back to the light.
Doing well. You're sick. Seek help.
Look, Mike Coppinger, bring it back to the light. Talking about this shit was only set up for 40K.
Oh
How
God.
About it?
Yeah.
There was, you know, there's a lot of nasty media. That was going around, and I don't know, man. Like I feel like this promotion was it was built on defying the odds. It was built on doing things. I don't know if they could do that. Oh man, like this is what when they rolled out that All In name, that it actually meant something to people.
5-year anniversary, Rich.
Yeah, and you know, going into it, looking at it. You know, I almost wish they would treat it like one of the biggest show of all time. There was some other discourse, you know, with some of the rumor matches that was going along. Of course, the main one that kind of drove people into a frenzy was thinking Kenny Omega was not going to be in a singles match. There was a trios match rumored with him, Hangman Page, and Kota Ibushi taking on Bullet Club Gold of Jay White, Juice Robinson, and Konosuke Takeshita. Gotta say, I would be pretty disappointed in that personally. I think for the biggest crowd ever, I would want to see who I consider the greatest wrestler ever in a singles match, personally. They've got Konosuke Takeshita and him been waiting for months to pull the trigger on that. I think, you know, some of this backwards booking of like, you know, saving the stuff for All Out and booking this card on the fly. This was a massive, you know, and we don't have the cards, so like,
right.
I'm only operating from the position of like, hell,
what's been announced?
How's this? What's been announced? What feels like it's on the horizon? It doesn't feel like there's a lot of organization right now. Organization, like, it feels like there's just like these loose plans that are all set to culminate at the very last second, and then it's like you could be myth building this thing, and this is one thing I think AEW can do better at. It's like, yo, you got to myth build. There should have been people cutting 1 minute insert promos about them and their journey to try to make it to Wembley Stadium. Like, I want to be on the biggest wrestling show ever. Like, every single babyface on the roster could have cut their own version of that promo of, hey, this is the topic. Tell me about how you relate to it. Like, and try to get some people over getting into that and really push the importance of this stuff. And they just don't do that. Like, and we've got, this promotion's been over for 4 years. It's like, I don't want to say he's treating it like a house show. He's not like, it's not completely mailed in. Obviously, there's going to be big matches and things like that. But I'm like, yo, you have
the hottest thing they have going right now is going to be presumably the main, or soon to be the main event of the show.
Right. And it's like, I think that they could treat this thing way more important than they have.
I don't disagree with that at all. Injuries happen in pro wrestling. That's the case in all this shit. All the time. We have a good idea of what probably half of the card is. Maybe or let's say a third, because I saw they may move the start time up to 5, which means that shit may be like that Big Egg 94 shit with All Japan All Japan Women's and all the cross promotions with everybody else. That could be this could be a 6, 7, 8 hour show for all we fucking know. Because as you mentioned, he wants to get everybody on the card. If you want to get everybody on the card, then brother, it's gonna be like Muta's bye bye. We'll see. We'll see what else is on the card as far as surprises. But except for one match, everything that they have announced is something that I'm interested to see. Now, is it like something I want to? This is like the thing I want to see particular act in absolutely right now at this moment. No. But as you mentioned, they got so many big, as you mentioned before, there's so many big shows ahead of them between, the joint rosters coming together, that you got to save some of that stuff. And also historically when it comes to booking, I know people don't want to hear this. They want an AEW WrestleMania style. But historically when bookers, get a venue, and they're ahead on tickets versus the amount of time they have, they will hold back matches and to say that shit for another day because we already got it, right? That's not been Tony Khan's philosophy for most of it, but some of this stuff can afford to be blown off and saved for later. I get, to me, I'm not surprised. But I am just like a lot of people. I am left not 100% enthused, but like I mentioned, I'm the stuff that's on the card, except for one match, I want to see. I want to actually see. So it doesn't bother me as much as I want to see singles. I want 10 singles matches on this card. No, I don't. No. Come on. What do you think? Stardom 5-star Grand Prix? What are you doing? But yeah. So that's kind of where I am on it. And there's still more stuff. Like I said, that 5 o'clock start. Jeremy's gonna be there, man. He's gonna be there for a long ass time.
Day.
Around the pro. You say all in, turn that shit to all day.
Man, imagine with them, trying to get to the restrooms and all that. Man, they better have all the accommodations, order from your seat, all that shit. They need to, But yeah, man, there was something else.
Oh, that's nasty. Dr. Larry says Punk goes on last. Ain't no way. No way.
His reaction is going to be really interesting over there.
Oh, he's going to get booed. What do you mean he's going to be interesting? He's going to get booed. The fuck?
It's going to be.
He's getting booed.
There was something else going on that I had really no clue about. Asuka has decided to hit the Twitter machine for whatever reason.
Yep. Do you see what sparked her to tweet that?
I believe I was told by Sierra, someone told her to go back to Japan or something like that.
I didn't see that, but what I did see was someone's say I love you, or she was holding a pizza, a slice of pizza with pineapples on it, and that person was like, I love you, but pizza with pineapple stinks, or something like that, or it makes me want to reevaluate how much I love you. And then she just went, what about this? And it's like, wait, what?
How is this related? Was there a mistranslation?
She was getting her shit off. It was gonna happen. Because for a couple weeks now, like, she has been tweeting at people and blocking them and saying, I will block you. And it's like, what is going on? Like, she's fucking around. You know, she is one of the most unserious Twitter accounts of all time for someone in WWE, right? Like, she's constantly, like, remember when Becky, was still in the middle of the man stuff, and she was like trying to get into a Twitter spat where she was always killing people on Twitter, whether it was Charlotte or Ronda or Ronda. And she was trying to do that with Asuka, and it was kind of like, you know, like Becky was trying to play rock, paper, scissors, and then Asuka was basically like, giraffe. I'm answering with, you're playing rock, paper, scissors, my answer is giraffe. You want to play rock, paper, scissors? My answer is dolphin. I don't give a fuck what you're talking about. I'm doing whatever, because she's so unserious, right? So, like, she's been, like, telling people, like, I'll block you or mute you or whatever else, and this doesn't bother me for, like, a couple weeks now. Like, even before SummerSlam, it's been happening. And then, like, so it's like, she's kind of doing this out of character thing for her, because he normally is, like, just a goofy on Twitter. And then this happened, I was like, okay. Now, you know, Rich,
I gotta say, I am a Hawaiian a Hawaiian pizza or pineapple on pizza guy. So,
I've done pineapple on pizza before. I don't hate it. I don't know why people get so mad about it. Yeah, it's a weird. It's almost like, I don't know.
It's not like you're putting mayonnaise on pizza or something like that. Like Soraya.
I never considered such a thing. That sounds nasty.
Yes.
Like mayonnaise and tomato. Anyway, yeah, you go through it and you give the context, and then like I add whatever I can add beyond whatever Sierra has talked to you about, because I know she said she was gonna write us. I don't know if she gave it to you or not. I have no idea.
Yeah, she didn't end up giving it to me, but like everything I saw about Asuka was like she started talking about Stardom, and she started talking about the promotion was created to destroy her.
Yeah,
and you know, everybody started talking about this manifesto that she put out like years and years ago.
Yeah.
I had no knowledge what that was, because I'm not even going to cap for y'all or anything.
I may have mentioned it to you in passing over the years, but like I never went into detail about it, because like what I read of it at the time, or what Sierra told me secondhand at the time, or I don't know the tense of the person, whatever, told me about it at the time, was like, okay, I get that she has valid points or whatever else, but I also understand why like the establishment was pissed when she said this stuff.
Yeah, I saw it and I was like confused. I was like, all right, I don't get it. What's going on here? And you know, there are some people that say,
and also more importantly, what the fuck does it got to do with 2023?
Right. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, I was like, this don't really affect the way I watch Stardom now. So that sounds like some old shit that has nothing to do with me. And my name is Bennett. I'm not in it.
Right.
And, you know, some people are saying this is some type of work that she's doing with.
I've heard that too.
But I'm like, I don't know. This doesn't feel like anything WWE does in their storytelling. So, like,
right.
You know,
like they don't give, like WWE does not give a fuck about lore other than saying like they wrestled each other back in the day and then this was what happened while they were wrestling each other, and then they move on. That's about it when they go into lore and other promotions.
Yeah, so like, you know, I feel like if they did an Asuka and Io match, right, they would do it a completely different way, which I don't actually believe they'll do one.
Right. And besides that, similar to what we talk about when it comes to Finn Balor and Seth Rollins, you've already had a program before or involving you where you interacted, and this didn't come up then. Why the fuck is it coming up now? This ancient history, bring it up then. To bring it up now after you've already interacted with each other that makes no sense. So if you remember during the pandemic, when Bayley and Sasha were like the women's tag champions, and Bayley was also the SmackDown women's champion at the time, they came to NXT. Sasha challenged Io for the NXT women's title. Bayley started cheating. All of a sudden, Asuka showed up and spit the mist into Sasha's face, and that's how Io was able to get the win. And like they hugged and all that kind of stuff, Asuka and Io, because obviously they were in a group together back in the day before Stardom even fucking existed too. So like for them to go from that to now say now it's a problem is like no.
Like there's just a big logic gap.
I got y'all on TikTok dancing while you are the women's NXT champion and she is the women's Raw champion. That's bullshit.
That's bullshit, baby.
Yeah.
We have our Canadians in the chat hollering at each other about pizza still. MJ Does PR is also from Canada, Fredro. So I don't know. Maybe y'all gotta, settle the beef politely, the Canadian way, but yeah, man.
Are they exposing the Canadian gimmick that Will Ospreay told us about? Where
I
these
don't know,
Canadians
man.
are secretly assholes. That's what's happening? Chris Jericho, asshole. Kenny Omega, asshole. Don Callis, asshole. Bret Hart, the biggest whiner ever. Like, that's just funny shit. Like, that was the funniest thing I've ever heard Ospreay say, because it's like, you got a point there. Like, these guys you got beef with Kenny Omega, I get it. Jericho definitely at this point in time is an asshole. Don Callis, big asshole. Gigantic asshole. Porn star asshole. Stretched out.
Oh, man.
Gaping.
Yeah, man. Yeah, but I didn't know too much about this whole thing. I was kind of perturbed about it, to say the least.
Do you see the stray someone just caught in this chat?
Yes, I did. I did see this. See the stray. Indeed.
Okay.
God bless her. But
Ooh.
yeah, I put out a call for questions since we're here on a Tuesday. As far as like, I was just tired yesterday, y'all. Like I was like behind on a bunch of stuff. I had to watch stuff. I was just like, yo, man, let's just kick it to tomorrow. So looks like a lot of people here showed up on the stream. So man, this, let's see what we got as far as the questions. As far as Asuka, one more thing. I just want to know, when was Asuka going to drop the American Women's Wrestling manifesto? Let's get that going.
I mean, maybe Lacey Evans will do it.
Sick.
Since she's out, she ain't got to worry about the retaliation from the media or from the company built to destroy her. So
yeah.
I'm not saying this to belittle Asuka's plight, because like she went through hell and like she flat out was an independent draw on her own at a time when like Japanese women's wrestling was basically dead as a doorknob, and she was one of the few people that was actually a difference maker at that time. And like the magazines, they wouldn't come to her shit because they wanted her to do certain things, and she was like, nah, I'm not doing that because I'm trying to, similar to like the Elite, like I'm trying to like give my fans what they want. I'm trying to give back to them in a certain way, and they didn't like that, and like they clicked up on her, and it was tough for her. It really was. Like there's a reason why like when people talk about like, we want you to come back to Japan, she's like, I don't want to go there. Stop asking me to go back there. Like, I want to wrestle here. I don't want to wrestle there. Like, everybody over there, like, were assholes to me in my experience or whatever else. And I came over here because it's easier to deal with. So, yeah, like, there's a lot that even I don't know about that stuff. But, like, the gist of it is, like, Asuka went through hell and went through a lot of bad, like, relationship breakups or whatever else. Not like friendships or whatever else. That's a better word to term those relationships. And, like, a lot of those people were political players or whatever else, and it hurt her, and she had to do a lot of stuff like to survive on her own. And like, she was a pioneer in that kind of way, a trailblazer in that kind of way, to show a lot of people how to like grind and get this money. And like, she did the stuff with like Sarah Del Rey on Shimmer and all that kind of shit, and came over here at a time when people weren't really coming over from Japan like that. And that kind of paved her way for her to come to NXT, and she's perfectly fine where she is. And, she's made the most of it. So yeah, like, I understand for the people that like, they love Stardom or whatever else, to be like, Stardom was here to Vinny. And like, even like later, like she said, like, look, current Stardom is not what is not my beef. My stuff is like old country stuff from back in the day It ain't got nothing to do with these wrestlers or whatever else. I'll take that out on them. But like, yeah, man, there's a lot of, you know, like, I don't know if it's because of, no, it's because like a lot of the women are like, a lot of them are women and a lot of them are also like aesthetically look like they don't have any gangster in them. But it's like, nah, man, like this is the pro wrestling business. There's a lot of carny shit going on. And a lot of people still back like that. Like, you know, we'll talk about that later in the show, but like a lot of people that still do this shit where it's like, I'm not putting you over. I'm not making you look strong because you can whoop me in a shoot. Still a lot of that shit going on, or still was shit going on. It's got a lot better, but like that shit was still happening 5 years ago. Right? And like that trickles into what Stardom is today. They had to change after that shit went over the line. Like someone got their face broken.
Yeah.
Or not 5 years ago, 2005. 2015, I mean. So yeah, like this shit is like, you know, still an outlaw business over there in some extent. Especially with like the freelancers in the current scene outside of Stardom and Tokyo Pro. Like, so yeah, like a lot of that stuff she was talking about then still holds up to today, but it is a bit different. It is a bit different.
First question comes from MJ Does PR. Said, can you take about 3 minutes to put some damn respect on Naito's name? 3 minutes? 3 minutes.
Yeah, we both thought he was going to win. What the fuck? Like, oh, we hate this guy. We both thought he was going to win the damn thing. So yeah, like, I have not gone around to watch his matches. I still have 3 more Grand Prix shows to catch up on. I still have to watch. I heard the the Ospreay thing went off like it did last year again. And I heard great things about the Okada match.
I watched the final. I watched the final with Naito and Okada. I gotta say, I believe they were in Sumo Hall. This crowd was insane. One of the loudest crowds I've heard in Japan in a really long time. I thought this was a really great match. I had it up while I was working the other day, so I didn't like zone in on it like completely, but it's definitely it's great. Like from everything that I was seeing at the end, and it was like the classic Naito of I'll turn up at the end. It's time to try and all that. So him and Okada being there, I feel like that kind of puts to bed their rivalry, but who knows?
They're going to wrestle each other like another dozen times.
Yeah,
and also Naito was due because like Okada had beat his ass like 2 or 3 times in a row. Especially like earlier in the year. So yeah.
And I guess this is like
last year. Am I thinking last year?
This is the last this is like the final. I think you are thinking about last year.
Yeah.
Like this is probably like Naito's kind of last ride at winning a G1 or something like that. There's a lot of comparisons to be made to Tanahashi in 2018. And
how old was he? How old was Tanahashi when it happened?
I think Tanahashi was like 41. Naito's 40.
Okay. For some reason, I felt like Tanahashi was like 43, but okay. It's closer. It's closer. Okay.
Yeah. So, this guy did get a lot taken away from him during the pandemic. And, like, they sent him, it seemed like they were kind of done with him. But, what do you mean? They had him
feud with, like, heel shit gimmick evil. What do you mean they were putting the screws to him? What do you mean?
He's gonna be fighting Sonata. I don't think that's really gonna do too much over here. That's not gonna heat our world up or anything. But
look, that one ain't for us.
Yeah.
What is for us would be Ospreay Okada 3 and Danielson Okada 2. Those would be for us. And when last year when Naito got inducted into got announced for the Observer Hall of Fame, like, I put on the LIJ shirt and I mentioned, like, look, we get that dude a lot of shit, but that dude, like, he's absolutely a great wrestler. He's one of the better wrestlers I've ever seen. And, like, when he's on point, he's good about as most people I've ever seen. The problem is like the commitment to want to flip the on switch all the time. And I don't begrudge him for that. Like, in a similar situation to Nakamura thing, Nakamura wasn't always have the flip switch too. But I kind of see it as like, Okada and Tanahashi are like the guys that are always dependable, always there. And then like the guys that you appreciate because like they can be as, dynamic, but you get it few and far opportunities, you maybe appreciate it more. That's Nakamura and Naito. And they're both, I'm sorry, as far as Naito concerned, like, as long as he can keep his body together, he should still be great for and have another great run. And this could actually be the real run for him because he never really got a great championship run. I think that's what a lot of people have still felt like, the office wasn't really behind him in that way, even though it's like, okay, like so he's won his third G1 and he's won his third title reign. He had his third title reign. You're full of shit. But this is an opportunity. Like, that's the thing when it comes to Naito, like, because he's not an underdog babyface, but because he's a slacker, like, you always can, if you're a super fan of his, you can always trick yourself into being like, there's always the next run where it will all come together for him. And like, look, if he comes out here and he reels off a 2017 Kazuchika Okada run, we'll be here to say, hey, we're wrong about it all. I don't think that's the case. I don't think the roster is in this situation to do that right now. But like, he can still go out there and have great from big show to big show, have great defenses, whatever else, and all that kind of stuff. Presuming he wins. If he doesn't win, I don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah, I would be absolutely shocked if he didn't win.
Like, I don't dislike Naito. I just don't love him.
Yeah. So, I don't like when he comes and wrestles like, a Will Ospreay or a Kazuchika Okada, he knows not to fuck around, right? When he's in there with someone else, I don't know. But this is the opportunity for him to, get the big run, and I'll take anything over Sonata. Pretty much.
Also. Sonata and Okada was a great match. Sonata and Hiromu was a great match.
Sam, what's up?
Look, if Sonata doesn't go out there, and I've always been a person that's held on my stock of Sonata because of how talented he is, an athlete and coordination and all that. If Sonata doesn't come out here and deliver what is his best singles match, I need him to promptly pack it the fuck up. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I love you. I love you. I love all the tools and all the attributes or whatever else. If you don't put it fucking together on January 4th in that dome, we're done. We're done. I'm sorry. I'm not saying that we need to be banished and sent out the business like you're evil or anything like that. But like, if you don't come out here and do what you need to do or whatever else, you need to go back to the mid card, and that's where you are forever. No more winning, no more competing, in deep runs in the New Japan Cup. No more winning, qualifying to get out of blocks anymore. None of that. We're done. Is that fair? Not being unfair?
I've already been ready to send Sonata, packing to the middle of the show. So, let's go. Rambone Slampay. Any thoughts on how long we have until another public meltdown by a certain aging, fragile star, and how substantial a second show is where a substantial part of the roster is not making appearances, and when, if ever, TK will take hold of this situation?
All right, what was the first question in that?
So, any thoughts on how long we have until another public meltdown by a certain aging, fragile star?
I mean, I don't think a broken arm is a way to call someone saying they have a meltdown, man. You need to relax on the dangles of slander. But anyway, look, as far as Punk, look, I'm not betting on it. I'm not predicting it because who knows or whatever else. Look, here's the thing. Forget like the stuff we do know. What has happened that we don't know?
Because it already feels like with this rash of stories that came out, there has been shit that's happening, and it feels like there's more. Right.
So who knows? I don't know, man. Can't really speak to that. All right. What was the next question?
And when, if ever, will TK take hold of this situation?
When it's too late. I mean, guessing by what's going on, the way we covered it, I'm assuming he's going to handle it when it's too late.
Yeah, I feel like there's going to be something else that's like a bomb that goes off, and then it's going to be like, oh, okay,
I think another fight will happen. It'll have to be another fight for him to get to stop this shit. I think that's what it's going to come down to. There's going to be another physical altercation where eventually this should be straightened in. When it should have been straightened out the day of Brawl Out or the night of Brawl Out.
Next question comes from J-Mo the Mermaid. She says, what matchup that hasn't happened amongst currently contracted AEW talent are you dying to see? Could be men's, women's, or both. Gotta say, Kenny Omega and Darby Allin. I would love that one.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one. That's a good one. I'm gonna say, just for my, my personal liking, it is AEW, right?
Yeah.
Does the Khan universe include that or no?
She said currently contracted AEW talent.
Okay, so yes, that's the Khan universe.
Yeah.
I don't know if you sign on the ROH thing. I don't know if you sign on the letterhead that says ROH. Be like, no, bro, this might be a fake contract. Maybe sign me up for the one that has AEW on it, and then like I'll work ROH. Checks might not clear if it's ROH. I don't know, man. Like, there's just a lot of stuff. I mean, I would love to see Ray Phoenix versus Swerve. That'd be awesome. For my sensibilities, what I want to see out of pro wrestling in AEW.
I think Swerve and Heyman might be pretty fun too.
Have we ever got a Phoenix and Heyman match?
Phoenix and Heyman, only in tags.
Yeah, only in tags. Yeah.
Let's see. I will say
Guevara and Phoenix would be. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna keep saying Phoenix. So I'm about Phoenix. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, that'd be awesome. Nick Jackson and like Jungle Boy be Raw. I don't think we ever got that.
Only in a tag. I would love to see a one-on-one match.
Hangman and Roosh would be good.
Hangman and Roosh did wrestle last year.
That's right.
Yep. I'm trying to think.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Sam got the one that's the actual draw, and what I wanted to see be like the Grand Slam main event like months ago, Eddie Kingston versus MJF for the AEW World Title. I've been campaigning for that. Look, when MJF cut his promo after winning the title, and he brought up Eddie Kingston, that's what I immediately thought of is like, you do that, they just go out there, they cut the promos, and you immediately just like cut this promo stuff or cut the storyline be about like the social economic difference between them that brought them to meeting each other in the ring. Talk about Eddie Kingston, all the shit he's going through. Talk about the charm life that MJF has had, and you talk about why they are just on opposite sides of life, but are both like going to be meeting each other face to face. It's the easiest thing in the world. That's what a lot of boxing promotions have been built off of, is like differences in class. So I was always in on that, and that's what I want to see.
Sierra killing me in the comments. I believe she joined us. Said Rich got that cap pulled down far enough. I mean, it's right here. I gotta pull it back some for you. Like, do I gotta? I don't know. But I'm chilling. I'm chilling.
I don't know what's going on. I don't speak light skin, so I don't know what just happened. I don't know. I'm sorry.
I would also.
Oh Lord, Sierra gonna kick your ass, Wasabi King. Or sorry, Dr. Larry. You better stop that shit. She hated when we did that shit back years ago too. You better stop it. Talking about that 1-2-step shit.
Don't make me play the song. Don't make me play the song live on the stream. Yeah. I'd like to see Bryan Danielson and Darby Allin as well.
Yeah, that'd be great. That's a good one. Have we seen Ray Phoenix versus Danielson? I'm sorry. I'm gonna keep giving them Ray Phoenix ones. I'm gonna keep doing it. I'm sorry. I can't help myself.
She said she'll block me for 5. I ain't trying to get blocked. I ain't playing with it. But yeah, there's still a lot of like AEW Originals matches that haven't happened. So
yeah,
let's get that going. Oh man. Kenny Omega versus Bandito. That's one I would like as well.
Yeah, that's way up there.
Black Saber Jr. says, hope y'all are doing well as always. Who would you like to see beat Orange Cassidy for the International Championship? He has 3 questions.
Okay, so let's go with that one first. I don't know. Is he ever? I mean, I think he may be buried with that bitch. like who's gonna be the raw mid carder to come in and take it from him? Because I think I basically checked out on him ever losing that shit once he beat Swerve. To be quite honest with you, I was like, nah, it's never happening.
I think Roosh is the guy.
Okay.
Just re-signed. Could use something to reintroduce him kind of to the audience. He's awesome.
Going back to the old question, AEW people. Can I get my Buddy Matthews Kenny Omega match so I can see Kenny Omega versus Nega Omega, please? Can I see that? I didn't say nigga, I said nega. So can I get that, please? I want to see what it looks like when it's him versus him.
Him versus almost him.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Yeah. Yeah. It's like seeing the 3-point shooting contest between Steph Curry and Dame Lillard. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll take Roosh. Number 2, would Nick Jackson be a top 6 worker in Stardom?
Nick Jackson?
Yes, Nick Jackson. I'm going to say yes, absolutely. Nick Jackson is one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, with a filthy catalog and lots of match of the year candidates.
Yeah, they're all tags except for maybe a handful. I don't think he will work that schedule. So I if you say put him in 100 dates in Stardom, or 100 at this point they're wrestling damn near 3 times a week at this point, to go out there and say go wrestle 120 matches up and down that card, and then basically wrestle 2 pay-per-view matches or a pay-per-view match every 2 weeks. I don't know. I don't know how to, and also he's so lucha influenced in a way that's he would have to change some things to accommodate and meet in the middle with what the hard-hitting style of Stardom is, and he would be able to do it because he's a great wrestler. He's an all-time great wrestler. Top 6, I would say top 6. Yeah. I don't think he would want to be doing that shit for long.
His third question: which wrestler would you like to input into Stardom right now? A healthy Jungle Kiona, a current day Jamie Hayter, or a more healthy / full-time Konami?
Well, Jungle was the best of the 3, so I would go with Jungle. If it was coming to be able to push somebody or whatever else, to push somebody to the top, I would go with Jamie.
I would go with Jamie also, because the other 2 I think would be kind of typecast in their current roles, and you could use Jamie in a lot of different ways. You could even make her the red belt champion.
Yeah, I think a lot of the stuff that Jungle was dealing with at the time was her look, and if she had showed up in her look how she's looked since 2020 or 2019 or 2020 or whatever else to now, compared to when she debuted and she was dressed almost like a woman from a Savage Island, she would have got a better push. But she came in, she looked how she looked, and minds weren't changed, even though she did so much to change her way to try to make herself look quote unquote more appealing to the audience, whatever else. And people liked her, people loved her story and everything, and loved her kind of her story and everything. So yeah, if she had came around, if there's another Jungle Kiona comes around or whatever else, she's going to get a push. She's going to get a push because Jungle was better than Mariah is. Mariah's a Michael champion.
Spin-off question: what unit would you put Nick Jackson in? Black Saber Jr. says he would be great in Stars.
I think he'd work in Donna Del Mondo. Because then he gets to work heel at times, and he gets to troll people. And Nick, when he gets to troll, is funny. Both Young Bucks, honestly. When they worked heel a couple years ago, it was a fun act. They got heat too.
Brandon Van Candia says, what would you turn in the Cole MJF story? I think he means who would you turn? I'll take it as, who would you turn?
Yeah,
for me, it's Adam Cole. You turn him. I think the crowd's begging to cheer MJF, and fighting it almost is futile at this point. And I feel like his heel character is a little long in the tooth, especially like should he like randomly say they do the angle and he turns heel and then he walks back out on screen the next week talking about the War 2024. Everyone's going to roll their eyes and probably turn to television or change the channel. I think everyone would just be so tired of it. So Cole, I think you can do something fresh. I think you can put him, in a heel unit along with the Kingdom, Roddy, and it's almost like an amalgamation of two of his units in the past. And we all know Cole works better in groups, and
he works better.
That's who
too.
I would go with.
Yeah, Cole. Like Cole, for as nice as the guy is, he's more dynamic as a heel than he's always been. Why? I don't know. I don't get it. Maybe he just is able to. I think maybe it's because he's able to like be the butt of the joke as a heel easier than be giving it that way as a babyface. I don't know, but yeah, he's I would choose him at this point because like people are really into this thing and like there's only so more time they're gonna pull the football from underneath Charlie's foot when it comes to this fan base wanting to actually cheer MJF and eventually be like, all right, bro, go ahead and turn baby face now. We don't care because you've done this 5,000 times, 11 times. We're done.
Like if they don't turn him babyface now, I think this would ruin like him for a while. Like if it's like, yeah, it would feel like a regression. So AW this week, we were already running late, like in real time on this. I wasn't thrilled with the show this week. There were a couple things I liked, but I think this was a down week for Dynamite. I did like the Jericho Appreciation Society meeting. I don't know if it should have let off the show, but I did like that, everyone, walked out on them in their own way. Emotional moments, kind of gripping. TV, I thought, with Sammy coming down at the end and Daddy Magic. The Daddy Magic promo was like, check your arm. When he said my wife was 8 months pregnant and all that stuff, it's like, man, like, and he's talking about, I dedicated his life to Jericho. I was like, man, goosebumps. So, but yeah, we're still in the woods on this one. We don't exactly know what Jericho's kind of feeling. Garcia, of course, he quits by doing the dance in Jericho's face, which was fucking hilarious. And everyone in the unit walked out, and Hager, man, what's that guy gonna do now? Should he go see if UPS is hiring?
I mean, he better go talk to Big CM. He know him. You remember me? Former World Heavyweight Champion on SmackDown. Remember me? Can I come Saturday, please, Mr. Punk?
I don't know. Look, he better go talk to Jim Ross. He better go talk. But I don't know how much longer Ross gonna be there. But
Punk gonna throw out Jim Ross.
I don't get to. No, I'm saying Jim Ross's contract is coming up.
Oh, I'm gonna say it because if Punk threw out Jim Ross, I might be back on the Punk train. All is forgiven.
Stupid.
All is forgiven. To get his ass out of here.
I don't know if Hager, Hager don't exactly seem like the type that really takes shit. So I don't know. I don't think a shoot would go well. Against Hager. So I don't know. But yeah, this whole thing is still kind of in the lurch. We got next week. Basically, we're gonna find out what's going on with Callis and Jericho. He said he's gonna have an answer. I got the vibe that Callis gonna be like, why the fuck did you make me wait so long and then unleash the dogs on him while he ain't got nobody to help him no more?
I thought that like Jericho's gonna tell him no,
right?
And then Callis 6 Osprey on him, and then like in the lead up to All In, like he gets his friends back, that sort of thing. I can imagine.
The Bucks versus
and then they
the
come
Hardys.
back as baby faces. And then maybe they change the name of JSA to something else.
So we got the Bucks versus the Hardys. I thought this match was light years better than the Double or Nothing one. It wasn't like great or anything, but I didn't think it was bad either. I thought it was solid.
Which match?
I thought this match, the Bucks versus the Hardys, was light years better than the Double or Nothing match.
It was better.
They had.
It was better. It wasn't a great match, but it was better. Yeah.
Yeah. Not really too much on this one, but the Hardys did put the Bucks over. Bucks win after the BTE trigger. And then, they jump on the mic and they say, FTR, all in. And then that's like the entire promo.
Yeah.
FTR's music hits.
Program builders. Just next level with it.
I have a theory on this. FTR comes out. They don't get a mammoth reaction or anything. This whole crowd, I don't know if the crowd was like kind of dead or anything, but they don't get a mammoth reaction. They're getting there and they're face to face, and it's almost like they're trying to, like I don't know if they're like, were they trying to go for a certain like cheer or what? But it was just like they were just standing there holding the belts up. The Bucks were looking at them, and then they accepted the challenge essentially. I think this whole thing is like, if you look at the promos after FTR's match on Collision, they were like, Young Bucks, Wembley Stadium, like, we want to prove, we're the best. That's pretty much it. The Bucks, FTR, Wembley Stadium, all in. I think they are trying to keep all the outside noise to a minimum. And actually, I kind of appreciate it.
I don't know why they can't do this without talking about CM Punk or referencing him or making the subtext about him. I don't get it. Or are you saying the CM Punk will make it about him regardless? I
don't think. I think the Bucks are kind of barred from talking about him. But if they wanted to fight fire with fire, you would think they would have grounds to, because they've been mentioned already on Collision. But there might be something missing for some people. But I'm ready to get these guys in the ring at this point, and then just do the great match you're gonna have. Like, I'm not necessarily wishing for all the extracurriculars.
Yeah, just do another one of the second match. Leave that first one alone. I don't want to love letter tag fucking wrestling. Just be yourselves. Wrestle.
So from there, we got footage of Hikaru Shida. And then they talked about the traditional all-in women's four-way match. And James, I came on this show last week, and I said, this is going to be a multi-person match, and Soraya's going to be in that shit.
What did I say? I didn't listen back to the show, and
I think you were like, there's no way they're gonna do this. Like, they don't let her wrestle.
All right, clear out. Watch out. 1-4 flat. Hey man, there is nothing that Saraya has done to merit her being on this fucking show or in this match. Maybe she wouldn't put her on a show. Sure, put her on second in a 8-hour show. Who gives a shit? But to her to be in the AEW Women's Title match makes no sense other than, she's from there. She's from the country.
That's it.
It's so lazy.
And they pay her a lot of money.
It's so lazy. And, like, she's a manager. She's a manager. A manager that, or valet, whatever you want to call her, and she's good doing the ringside heat stuff, whatever. But, like, she wrestles as if, like, she shouldn't be cleared to wrestle when she's been out there. Her match has been terrible. When she came in, she had a bunch of stuff. She was put in a feud that she gave everything over to Britt. Britt fucking crashed it into the ditch. It is what it is. Britt, Saraya and her seem to still be friends about it, whatever else backstage, cool, whatever. But, this thing stinks. It has no business being on the card. It doesn't. Like, she has no business being in the title match on the card. She's done nothing. Like, she's done nothing but beat geeks. Like, she came out and won this weekend. Who did she beat? I forgot who she beat. Was it Sky Blue? Oh, of course, Sky Blue. She's the Dakota Kai of fucking AEW. Comes out, loses. Comes out, loses again. Comes out, loses another time.
I think she's actually
a tomato can.
She's more like the Liv Morgan, like, of AEW. when you see the fan bases and how they.
I'm talking about their utility on the roster. I don't care about people being freaks.
Losers.
Yes.
Freaks. Yeah, but I'm a little I think Sky Blue's a little further along earlier in her career than Liv Morgan was. I do not believe Saraya is going to win this. It was always my belief she would be just in the match, and just because I don't think Sheeta's coming off the belt that quickly. I don't think it's going right back to Toni Storm.
You put it on. Because I see Sierra say that she thinks that Saraya's going to win. I'm just like, okay, you put it on her, and then fucking what? She retires?
I think the only problem with putting it on Saraya there, it was just in her faction, so I don't think it's going to just jump right over to her. I think Sheeta's going to retain here. And if you were going to put it on Britt, I mean, you could put it on her. But I think that's kind of a quick turnaround for Sheeta. I don't think they're going to.
Who's the third wrestler? Or who's the fourth wrestler in this?
So the fourth wrestler is to be determined. Bunny or Britt Baker. So Britt's going to be the fourth.
Okay, so yeah, is Britt? Oh, hold on, wait.
Toni Storm,
Toni, Sheeta. That's right, Toni, Sheeta. Yeah. So yeah, Toni's not going to win. Not going to win it right back. It's either Britt or Sheeta. I think Sheeta's
either Britt or Sheeta,
and we move on. They have been that whole DMD clique has been at the forefront of this shit on Dynamite for since when did she show up? When did Saraya show up? Was that Grand Slam?
September, Grand Slam last year.
They've been at the forefront of this shit. They have done nothing to help the division back. Nothing. Except for helping themselves. And I don't necessarily mean that in a bad way, they're being selfish. I just mean they've done nothing. They've done nothing. So move on and we can get matches with potentially Athena. We can maybe we can take the mothballs off of Serena Deeb and get another Deeb and Sheeta match, right? Hell, we may get a Riho and Sheeta match again. We haven't had one of those in 4 years. There's her and Willow. There's tons of stuff. You can continue this story of Willow still chasing after a Tony Khan world title. So yeah, I also don't think there's many more stories for Britt or for the Britt Baker thing with Outcast until Jamie comes back, and we don't know when the fuck she's coming back.
I think Britt will eventually win the title back. I don't think it's here though. I think.
She'll be multiple time champion. Yeah, I can see that. Definitely.
I think Sheeta's going to
start a promotion still, or in that division.
I think Sheeta's going to retain here, and I think a lot of this is rewarding these people. Obviously, Toni Storm, she's been in every pay-per-view match. I think going back a year. I think as far as Sheeta and Britt, similar stories. They've been here since the beginning. And then Saraya is you're from the UK. We signed you. We're going to do this thing for you. You were never supposed to wrestle again. Whatever. That's it. I think this is it. This is your thank you, essentially. But that's just how I look at it.
Yeah, thanks for nothing.
Yeah. So, from there, we got more Cole and MJF stuff. We got them throwing dodgeballs at kids. And doing flips, getting cussed at by little kids and all that shit. And then we got the BCC backstage. Floyd actually brought something up about the BCC. I thought it was a solid point. I think these guys are overexposed right now. And I say that because they went directly out of blood and guts, just rolled right into whatever next, almost like nothing happened. It feels like there should be some kind of change in the group or something like that, but they're just kind of just rolling along. So I don't know if that's something to watch out for, but it does feel like, they did the Best Friends Parking Lot Brawl. They did they're doing a death match the next week with the three-way stuff. They're doing it seems like it's a lot. They're being leaned on a lot.
Yeah. I I think there's a lot that goes into that. I think Danielson, had he been healthier, was around, would have affected, obviously some of the dynamics with the going forward in the storytelling for BCC and where they're standing. As far as all four of them, I also think that like Eddie Kingston being in the G1 also affected this, and like we're kind of on hold until he comes back. Which I don't know. Is he going to be back on Wednesday? Who knows?
Who knows?
Right. But like that's he'll be back and they'll deal with when he left. And that'll be the next chip to play. That'll be the next really big storyline for them, or major one. But yeah, you do have a point. And I think it's also some of the stuff where it's like, Matt Jackson, it has the bad arm, so they have to keep him on a pitch count or whatever else any match he can have right now. So like they may be picking up some of that slack. I don't know. I just some guesses or whatever else as far as what they're doing. But yeah, there is definitely something to like they don't take no days off. Like the part about they're supposed to make AEW like the appealing was like acts or particular wrestlers can like wrestle 2 or 3 times in a month. Jon Moxley's like, I'm getting out the house. I'm going to wrestle. I'm going to beat up amateur civilians on the weekends instead of go to Collision. I'm constantly working. I'm the hardest working man in sports entertainment. So I'm flying my ass to Japan instead of going to Collision on Saturdays. I'm doing all
anywhere but Collision. Yeah. ABC.
Yeah. You look. You need your oil change. You might go to a Jiffy Lube and see Jon Moxley underneath your fucking hood. But what he will not be is on your TV screen at 8:00 Eastern on Saturdays on TNT.
No.
Please believe that.
Yeah, Jon Moxley worked PWG this weekend.
Yeah. That man's picking up all sorts of work.
Yeah, man, picking up work that he ain't even signed up for. He's just like, I'll just show up, whatever. Jack Perry, dressed like Jerry Lynn, takes on Rob Van Dam in an FTW title match in a pleasant surprise. I think Jack Perry is a perfect shithead heel. He's awesome. He rules. Like Jack from day one. Yes, I thought he did kind of look like Jericho too. But
I saw the picture and thought Jericho, not Jerry Lynn, but
I saw a picture. It was like Jerry. It was like a mock-up of some old Jerry Lynn gear, and then the Rob Van Dam connection ties in. So I like that a lot better than his Seth Rollins' Dusty Rhodes polka dots outfit when he fought Cody. But yeah, this was a whole thing for Rob to kind of just do his thing and he had a good showing, and I saw a lot of people very impressed with Rob, and I feel like Rob walked in there like, shit, they done booked me once. Shit, I'm smelling bookings is open. Wembley Stadium is coming right up. I might be able to
Yeah, and I heard y'all short staffed in the kitchen on Saturdays. Y'all might need another person that go out here and help draw some old people, right?
So I saw this shit and I was like, all right, Rob, I respect it. I get it. But Perry ended up getting the win.
We talked about this last week, right? Like last year on Noah, he had a quality match. So Rob, look on the same show. It's on the same show. We saw Jeff Hardy in the opener, and then we saw RVD.
All right, be careful. Be careful.
I don't give a damn. Sierra, cover your ears. Rob Van Dam greater than Jeff Hardy, then, now, and forever. Sorry.
MJF and Cole. MJF completely turns around. He welcomed the fans of the Midwest. Said previous footage of him saying that they were mid is obviously doctored, not real. And
you know what
you nasty.
Do you remember when they had Seth Rollins cut a promo where he doctored video footage of Roman Reigns making like a liar or whatever else?
Yes.
like that kind of run, it reminded me, like the kind of insincerity, it reminded me of that. I enjoyed it because, like, yeah, you know, that's fake news. Like, that never happened. You said it repeatedly. Repeatedly.
So MJF said his favorite place in the U.S. is the Midwest. Cole mentions making history at All In. Said if he beats MJF, he's gonna, you know, he said basically he's gonna make history when he wins. MJF is like, so what's going on, man? Like, he started jumping off the bridge and was like, you want to do a promo battle? And he started saying, you know, Cole is so skinny and white. If this was the 80s, Hogan would have snorted him. I called him a noodle arm, a bobblehead, and, you know, Cole didn't want to do any of that. He cut him off. He's like, hey, man, we weren't talking about that. And MJF misread the situation in a kind of comedic way. Cole then started randomly talking about, you know, them winning he wanted to win AEW tag team titles, but he was like, you know, he couldn't do that. I got my eye on another set of tag belts, the ROH tag titles, and I'm like, well, I'm baffled at this point. He said he owes his career to Ring of Honor, ran down his ROH resume, said these are the, you know, only belts he's never won, which are held by teams like the Kings of Wrestling, Red Dragon, Briscoes, etc. Cole said they should challenge for the ROH titles at 0 hour before All In and head into the main event of the show draped in gold. MJF called Cole a sick pervert for wanting him to wrestle twice in one night. He said he barely wrestles twice in a year. So he said Cole's his bro Chacho. He's a sucker for a cheap pop, obviously. He said, you know, I'm still the fan scumbag. They're going to challenge Aussie Open for the ROH tag belts at the All In 0 hour.
Yeah. So
I don't like this.
So what don't you like about it?
They're wrestling twice on one night while you have a lot of people that need to be booked. Either Aussie Open is losing, which I think is detrimental to them with those belts, and those belts are just kind of thrown in for an angle. You're blowing them coming out twice in the same show. I think you just put them on last rather than on the pre-show as well. I don't know, and I think this is set up hastily.
So I don't disagree.
And they need to start fighting now. I feel like it's like, I don't know.
They need to start fighting now. Do the angle, do the turn now. Like, I think what's going to happen is they do the turn on that pre-show to get people to buy the show to see what the hell is going to happen in the main event or whatever else, or late in the show. Your point about them coming out twice and getting in a second pop, having let's return to the first one, you're absolutely right. That's going to happen, and that's pro wrestling. People come out more than once on the show. I'm sorry, like, people got to come out for more than once on the show sometimes. So yeah, like I quite frankly, like when I see that, I'm thinking like, okay, so that's when to pull the trigger on one of them, basically, you know, screws over the other one, or they're going to have their quote unquote tension or have a shoving match at the least, and then, you know, leave and then be like, oh my God, I might have to drop, you know, the $50 to go see this thing, even though it's already the hottest thing going on in the promotion. So for that reason, like, I don't have a problem with it. Now, as far as Aussie Open losing, like, I don't care. It's the ROH tag team title. I hope they lose them shits, and then they can come back like the next Wednesday after that and be like, we were the ROH champions, Young Bucks, and we want to challenge you for the AEW World Tag Team titles. I don't give a fuck about them ROH titles. Phoenix and Pentagon just had their shits. I didn't watch a single one of their matches. I'm sorry. And I just spent like, 5-10 minutes of a segment earlier saying that all the dream matches I want to see Ray Phoenix have. I'm sorry. It's ROH. Sorry.
Couple comments. Zach Mike say, Rich, you're missing it. The strategy in Cole wanting to challenge for the ROH belts is to wear down MJF before the match.
But that comes at the expense of also wearing himself down, though. So that doesn't... does he just never tag in? Like, is it like... But MJF should be smart enough to realize what that would be happening. Be like, hey, you're pulling a sting on me. You're pulling a sting flare on me. I'm not going for it.
Doc Laria says Cole is going to end up injured and change the show completely. Mark Davis is not a safe worker. Diogo says, wouldn't doing the turn on the Go Home Dynamite make more sense since more people are going to be watching?
If you're doing from that perspective, Dynamite, then you got to throw out that match you just booked a week ago or 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. I think it would make more sense to do the angle on Dynamite, but as James said, like, you already booked some other shit, so
you already booked some other shit, and also like you already got 80,000 people in the building. Like, I get you want to sell pay-per-view buys, but like you already got like a damn near $10 million gate. I think we're okay. I think the ends have already been met.
Is this, you think, maybe a strategy to ensure that people get there early?
Yes, that as well. Like, you got to have hooks for the pre-show, and that's a hook for the pre-show, especially when they're like, we're going to start at 5.
Yep. Roger Strong then comes out the back and gets his balls cut off immediately.
Can we not talk about No. Rich, understand me. I'm not saying this like being for real, but like, I've never felt worse for somebody on a fucking show.
Bro.
Go ahead.
They treated him like, bro, like, people were saying this is like The Rock doing the Billy Gunn. Hi, Billy. My name's God, or my name's Billy. Bob, it doesn't matter what your name is. Yeah, and it just fucked him up. This was bad for Roger Strong. It already kind of looked like a cold here. This whole thing with the neck brace, like, is just like, I don't know, man. When Roger Strong got brought to this promotion, him doing bad acting with a neck brace wasn't the idea I had.
Same.
I thought I was going to see the Messiah, the backbreaker, a little bit more personally, but this is a new style, I guess. He's pissed that Cole wants to challenge for the ROH belts with MJF and not him. I think this is like the first solid point that he's actually had that isn't like, hey, you're fucking crazy, like, chill. Like, I think this is the first time he actually came toward like, oh, that's logical. MJF told Strong to get in the car, go home, run upstairs, and like all, like most white people do, cry into your Hello Kitty headphones and listen to Taylor Swift so he can shake it off like a bland bitch. Strong then asked Cole if he's going to allow MJF to talk to him like that. Stand up, Roddy, please. And then, he said the Kingdom was right about him. Then Taven and Bennett walk out and hug Strong. And then MJF said, Cole doesn't need you. Cole then shoved MJF and was like, hey, man, you don't need to say that. He's both of our friends. And he calmed MJF down. He's going to go check on his boy and all that stuff. Yeah. Cut that man. Cut his nuts off. Cut his legs off. What do you do with this guy now? You got to turn him now, right?
I know that. Jim Cornette is like persona non grata on this podcast because of the anti AEW stuff and anti Elite stuff he's done over the years and a lot of stuff besides just that, right? I'm going to use a Jim Cornetteism. MJF unzipped his pants and pissed in Roddy's mouth. He pissed in his mouth. Figuratively speaking, obviously. But it was piss nonetheless. And I was like, yo, this is... Why would you okay this? Like, Roddy has to get this shit back in blood. He has to beat MJF's ass. And not just him. It needs to be him and multiple people. He needs to get the beats from like 6 to 8 feet.
Yeah. Then from there we got Claudio and Jon Moxley take on the Lucha Brothers. This was like a lot of stuff. I thought this was like decent, but it wasn't the match I thought. I don't know if they were rushed for time. It just didn't get rolling in the way.
Who did Lucha Bros face? I forgot.
Moxley and Castagnoli.
Oh yeah. It was it felt like a Jon Moxley match at sometimes or tag match, or sometimes like they can feel disjointed as if like they're being called on the fly, and it's like these are flyers that are taking dives around the place. Why are you calling on the fly? That's what it felt like at times.
Yeah.
But it was still a very good match. I don't necessarily call it great either. Yeah.
Kenny is then walking. Kenny Omega is backstage with Alex Marvez, and he's just walking around, like leaving the building. Talks about the Bucks challenging FTR. He said, the fans are going to win that one. And then he was like, yeah, I'm sitting down next week with Jim Ross to discuss his future, Don Callis, Konosuke Takeshita, and his plans for All In. I don't know what Kenny was doing.
Sorry, gotta double back real quick because we didn't do this. We don't do this. We haven't done this in a long time. But your August 6th through 12th, One Nation Radio, LeBron, Romeo, and James, you bum of the week, Roderick Strong. Goes without saying. He absolutely would have won this if we were still doing this.
Absolutely.
There's not a chance in hell he wouldn't have won this last week. He absolutely would have. So
absolutely.
We're
came
dusting
out
that
there.
off, giving it to him. There you go. We can move on from there. Sorry about that.
Yeah. Then the Mogul Embassy came out. Prince Nana ran the crowd down, handed Swerve to Mike. Basically talked about how himself and AR Fox, they went up to the Buddy Wayne Academy and whooped some ass. They went up there to prove a point. And they show everybody that, they know whose house it is. He basically says, I'm above the law. That's why you're not going to see anything happen to me. I'm different, essentially. Love that line. There was a lot of people like, well, how can he just show this on national television? Because he's above the law. That's why he's affiliated.
Because if you pull that thread, everyone would be in prison in pro wrestling.
Dumbasses.
Anytime someone does something with a chair or with a weapon, or anyone does a beat down that's not inside of the squared ropes or at the ringside area, it's automatically you should be going in behind bars, right? Because it's on camera, right? Can't pull on that thread.
Yep. So after that, and Swerve wraps up the promo basically, and Darby starts coming out, and or Fox said, "Hey, Darby, bring your ass out here." He came out. He demanded that Fox tell him the whole story about how, tell the whole story about how Allen actually tried to help AR Fox when he needed it, but Fox got the AEW by himself. He's mad Allen didn't put in a word in for him, but he did for Nick Wayne. Fox, might have some new friends. Allen has friends too. Lights went out, and then Sting was in the ring, and as my man Doc Leary said, that man got to live that vigilante lifestyle. That man put that baseball bat up to Swerve.
Yes, this man showed up with a baseball bat and started swinging at people. Throw Sting in jail too, right? Oh no!
Jail immediately.
Was anybody perhaps triggered that black guy beat up an 18-year-old white boy? Is that what happened? Perhaps.
Speak on it. So, it's always interesting when you have black wrestlers working with white wrestlers, and some of the dynamics that people either pull from that aren't there, or
Rich, the person that brought this up was a person that came up around the same time with like Dusty Rhodes and Ric Flair's are creative geniuses, and Dusty Rhodes got his arm got basically stalked around the Greensboro area, if you will, and then outside of his truck got tied up and his arm broken. Right. That was a story. And Arn Anderson recorded and then sent it into the fucking promotion to play it on air. Why weren't they arrested? Oh, it never happened? Oh, you never thought about that? Oh.
I wonder why.
It's a legal triggering thing for you in this particular case because
gotcha.
Yeah, that's why.
Gotcha. So Sting points up to the All-In sign. They pull Swerve out the ring. Sting and Allen stood tall. Then the challenge is made. Sting and Darby Allin against Swerve Strickland and AR Fox in a double coffin match. I told everybody some cool shit was coming. So just believe me, boy. I think this is going to be phenomenal. Sting's crazy. Darby's crazy. Swerve's crazy. AR Fox is crazy.
Yeah, I didn't know where you were going there because you were like, Sting's crazy. Like, all four of them are. Then you just wanted to use for emphasis all four. Okay, gotcha. Okay, I get it as you were going. I was like, okay, like what are you doing here? Bro. Why are you shortchanging these crazy people? They're all crazy.
All these people are crazy and willing to do whatever. It's pay-per-view. It's the biggest show of all time. It's the biggest show probably all four of these guys will ever wrestle on. AR Fox was struggling to get out of Evolve for years and years. Had to wait till he was 35 years old to sign a contract on national television. He's going to be on All In front of 80,000 people. If that ain't a hot boy, then what do you call that? Swerve, very happy for this guy. While others clamor for Hit Row to be reformed in full, Swerve will be in front of 80,000. While Sting, shows up to WrestleMania 31 and they feed sly remarks on commentary about, this is what it feels like, Sting, 70,000, while they're lying about the number. Sting will be in front of 80,000. Darby Allin as well, 80. So this is a career achievement for at least three of these guys.
Yeah.
Main event.
Not bad for someone they let go.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Amazing.
I would say the Darby Defy stuff with all of that and Sting, like, is it the second best storyline they got going?
It's great. It is really
and for
great.
a lot of people, and for a lot of people's taste, they prefer that to the buddy cop thing that or the buddy movie.
I gotta say
that buddy cop movie that they're doing,
James.
that MJF and Paige are doing, or Cole.
I almost considered them in two different universes and never thought to compare them, but I will take this storyline over the buddy cop stuff.
Yeah.
Any day of the week, personally, and I think this match is going to go off. It's gonna be big time. So. Okay,
so how many things is CM Punk going to stop Sting and Darby from jumping off of in that building? Because they could be like, here, no. Well, then where would jump off of? You jump off the apron.
The apron. You jump off the side of the shit like fucking Solo Sikoa, like
they ain't even got no kind of barricades to do that.
I don't think Big CM's word will go too far in this match, personally. So after that we got Hikaru Shida versus Anna Jay, and this was the main event of the show. They set them up.
I think they set up one person. They set up Hikaru Shida.
Yeah. There was a really bad kick in here from Anna Jay. I thought she did look decent. I thought the match was decent, but I didn't think it was.
She gives that spin kick terrible. In the corner more than one time in the match. It never looks good. 86 it. Get it out.
Yeah, I think she should go with a different move on that one, but they
just outright saying get the fuck out. That's wild.
Jesus.
y'all cruel.
See?
Back up.
Man,
Back up.
Man.
Get them out.
I know the comment section. I know y'all like engage in some good fun, but y'all seem dead serious. God.
Hey, y'all be out here watching Stardom and being like, oh, you can't. No, get out. Get out. Get you better call Tyrone.
Look, man, y'all gotta just sit up and be funny like us at least. Like y'all gotta wish somebody hit the lottery or something. Like y'all gotta say you hope they find their real calling in life. You gotta be nice about it. Y'all just saying get the fuck out.
Yeah, you gotta be like Asuka in the manifesto and be like, look, you gotta help people, like help them get out of here that gonna be floundering around. Like you just saying, hey, get them the fuck out of here. Damn, that was rough.
Yeah, but Hikaru Shida retains first defense. Good for her. She qualifies for Wembley. I think I saw a lot of people saying, why does Hikaru Shida have to win a match to qualify for the match. I'm like, well, if she lost the match,
she ain't gonna be in the title match.
She ain't gonna be there. So
right.
Well, no match this week.
Well, you could be like, all right, well, Toni Storm asked for her rematch clause. Well, what if she loses? Why can't she just ask for her rematch clause at Wembley? You could do that. One could do that, but it's like, good and damn well she even lose the goddamn title. Anna Jay, stop it.
Yeah.
She hasn't been on TV that much. She's been doing a lot of her damage on Dark to get heated up for this. She came and won the title. It need to follow up and get her some more screen time. She's a fucking champion. Stop being, you know what they're doing. It's okay. You know what they're doing. There's no harm in it. Just move. It's okay. You're right. You ain't got to harp on it.
Yeah, man. Think that 2 weeks in a row, they've given the main event to Hikaru Shida. I'm ready for them to kind of unleash her in one of these, rather than this seems like a function of the whatever they had going on. Seemed like a kind of a tomato can defense right here. So pull someone out she can get busy with. But I guess, James,
hold on. You got
hold on before we do that.
You see what's in the comments.
Oh shit!
Yep.
Let's get them out. Let's get them out of here.
I don't even talk about that, but I was talking about what Zekamaki said.
Hold on. I am doing the band job.
All right.
Okay,
yeah, so
Zekamaki. Anna Jay has not improved in the last 4 years. Fuwa-chan trained with Hazuki and Okada, and in 6 months made Anna Jay look like the second coming of Eva Marie. My God.
Look, man. You right. You ain't had to type all that, though.
Sierra Jesus, y'all some haters. Look, this is the thug section, and then this comment section. Jesus Christ,
look, man. Fuwa-chan went out there and did things that I can't expect Anna Jay to do. Right, I agree with you. And was doing it while wrestling with the young girl moveset that they have all the everybody starts off with.
The swimsuit too.
She wasn't in the swimsuit. No, fool. Remember the from. I'm sorry, Yokohama Arena.
Doc, stop it. Stop it. Stop it, Doc.
Why would she show up? Why would Sarah J, the porn star, show up? I don't understand. What is happening? Do we need to stop acknowledging this conversation get to with this show? And it'd be like, y'all on time. Y'all on, we put y'all on probation. We gonna ignore y'all and continue. She a wrestling fan. A lot of porn stars are wrestling fans. A lot of them. Yeah. I don't know where to go from there. But yeah.
All right. So I guess
look. Workers recognizing other workers.
Physical business.
Oh man.
Skin to skin action. Yes. Hit the music. Stardom Wrestling.
Okay, so just some quick housekeeping because to catch up with the Grand Prix. So I have caught up to 8-8, the show in Kyoto. The closing stretch of that show is great. I suggest you check it out, Rich. I caught
the Shuri and Natsupoi. I saw there was a Mayu and Suzuki main event that was
8-8. That was the 8-8 show at KBS Hall in Kyoto. KBS is the one with stained glass. So this pick off. We're going to go through just the Grand Prix matches from 8-5 through 8-6. 8-5, Mirai versus Azumi. The whole match is Azumi is picking off Mirai's arm, and Mirai is selling and trying to fight from underneath. She started out strong and was overpowering her with the mat technician stuff until Azumi got that arm and was putting it to work and was just seemingly had answers for everything Mariah was trying to do. Mariah couldn't really get much momentum until the very end, where Mariah ends up hitting her with a big move and then hitting the running jumping lariat. I end up giving and getting the win. I ended up giving it 3 3/4. Fun match. Went like 8 minutes. Was fun. Like it's amazing. Like the difference between like an Azumi 4-minute match last year and what she can get done and accomplish in 8 minutes, like she did 2 years ago in this year. It's amazing. Like she's getting time this year. She's getting time.
Take these training wheels off eventually.
Yeah. It's just she's so fucking good technically. So okay. So some main events. Starlight Kid versus Suzu Suzuki. They wrestled this match with like literally, or not literally, like they're like, let's put the high speed stuff to the side. Let's go out there and tell a back and forth story. A lot of it based around Kid being outstriked and Kid getting to Suzu's legs and working over her legs to try to get back into the game. Had Suzu on the ropes in potential times to tap out to particular moves. Didn't happen. And then Suzu comes back, flurry of kicks as usual, and then just puts her away, which is a barrage of offense. Kid had nothing left, ends up hitting her with the deadlift German suplex, getting the win. I went 4 flat stars on it. I can imagine people maybe like this more than me, but like I felt like their pacing was like, it felt like they were trying to have like a 15-minute title match, if you will. But it was on 4 stars. Suzu's like off to just, she hasn't not had a 4-star match that I can remember in this tournament yet. Like everything is hitting forward. So the main event, Micah versus Momo. No, I'm sorry. Micah versus, was it Ano? I'm blanking on this. I didn't put the thing in. I'm sorry. Cover me right now, Rich, while I pull this up.
Yeah. I watched the pay-per-view. Yeah. I didn't see the show James talking about, but I did see the pay-per-view.
We're going to talk about it in a second.
Yep. But yeah, make sure y'all get y'all merch and everything. Big shout out to Tunnel Talk.
Yes.
Podcast I've listened to quite frequently. Actually, I got kind of introduced by Trish to it. Shout out to Leah. Also, shout out to Sarah, who is a guest host on there at times. Also, One Nation Radio listener. Thank you guys for bringing up some of the stuff we were talking about.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm not caught up. Yeah, it was Ano. I don't know why I left out Ano's name on it. Yeah. So like this match was like weirdly, it just didn't like get to the next level. It was like, just got to 3.5 early, and then like it just stayed there. I can't explain it. But like I think it was just like they knew they were going 15 minutes and like to the time limit, and so they just like stayed there, and it didn't really get too dynamic. And it just like for both of them, seeing what they've already done in the tournament, I was kind of like, I was expecting something better than this, but I ended up giving it 3.5 stars. Like basically comes down to the very end where it's going back and forth with Trey near falls, and then Micah, after getting her arm worked over forever, gets Ano up in a like a package power driver position. She normally gives someone like a spin out slam out of that, and like the bell rings before she could do it, and Daichi stopped her from lifting her up and dropping her. So that was the end. And then like they basically did a tie promo where they were like, "We tied" or whatever else. "Glad you're here" or whatever else. And then like Ano like antagonized Micah to the back with the spray can on her arm and her head. So that was the end of that night. So 8-6, Hannon versus Mina. It was surprise. I was expecting a better match than this. Ultimately, what ends up happening is Mina goes to work on Hannon's legs, and just it felt like every three things they tried, it was off by like half a millimeter, half a centimeter, and it just didn't look right. Like there was a time where like the first time Mina got Hannon into a figure 4 leg lock, like she fucked up putting her legs in the lock. I was like, oh Lord, Mina is regressing being the Miz.
Oh no.
Yeah, and she kept it on by holding it with her hand in between her legs, and then like hand is holding on forever, pretending like she's actually in this lock, even though obviously it's a fake wrestling move, but whatever. She's selling and screaming before she makes the ropes, and it does look bad. Ultimately, Mina ends up slapping on a second time and getting her out of there. I end up going 2.5. That's the worst match of the tournament so far. 2.5. Now I'm sure that if I was grading the G1, that would not be 2.5 would be, Anyway, so next match after that, this is 8-6. Azumi versus Ano. Man,
that must have been amazing.
All the high speed that Ano didn't put into the match with Micah was put in here. It was very, very ambitious. They probably pulled off 95% of it because some of the stuff, because some of the counters and like double rolling pin stuff they were trying and high speed stuff, it looked good, but between those two, you imagine, and their dexterity, you imagine it looked better, but I'm not gonna hold against them. This went like 8 minutes. I probably give it 3 3/4 and not consider giving it 4 because of the level of athleticism and coordination and agility and all that was on display. Like, they killed it. They just didn't hit all of it. But
every match I see from Ano, I'm liking her more and more.
Yeah, I mean, look, the Micah match was just a weird aberration. Everything else is just, she's on point. Ano has Azumi on the rope, seeming like to put her away. Azumi slips out, Canadian Destroyer, Azumi Sushi for the W. So I end up giving, I think it went like 7 minutes or 8 minutes, get 3 3/4 again.
Mm-hmm.
So like Azumi's already off to a way better start than last year. She's into a better opponent. She's not getting hold on time, so she can just do her in the mid card and be excellent. And it's so much. It feels so much better when Azumi has killer matches on there, like bangers, like little 8-minute bangers on here. So next match, Natsuko Tora versus Shuri. Shuri, we often talk about this. We once cut a YouTube clip after she won the Grand Prix, saying that Shuri is the best women's wrestler in the world. And after this, I feel like we undersold her. She has done it yet again. I don't know how she's the only person to figure out how to have a match above 3.5 stars with Natsuko Tora, but she's done it twice now. And this one, I contemplate giving this 4 stars.
Wow.
I end up giving it 3 3/4, but start with Matt wrestling on the floor, end up out on the floor, throws Shuri into the chairs out by ringside like 2 or 3 times, gets her back into the ring. Then Shuri proceeds to beat her ass, kicks, a whole bunch of arm submissions, various. It is going back and forth. They're trading forearms. Eventually, it looks like she's about to put her away. Ref gets taken while Shuri's on the top rope. Spits the mist. Hits cheats one time. Gets a Death Valley driver. I'm sorry. Go back. Spits the mist. Goes up to the second rope. Second rope DVD. Kicks out at 2.999 by Shuri. Natsuko goes up. Swan time, gets the win. 3 3/4, and I'm not going to be arguing when nobody gives this 4. I like her adding the touch of Kagetsu to her matches. Like, as far as like, I'm going to cheat, but I'm not going to run this down and turn this into a house of torture as like I was doing, like she was doing, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. It works so much better. And she keeps this up for the rest of the tournament. She's out of my doghouse. She's off my list of like least favorite watches. Like, man, she has been making adjustments ever since she came back to have better matches than what she was doing. Like, she has learned the error of her ways. I don't know if it's Starlight Kid and Momo saying, "Hey, this shit stinks. We don't want to do this." I don't know, but like, it's not do fucking nothing, grab the chain, wrap it around someone's neck, throw their ass over the top rope, choke them, take a DQ in the middle of a fucking tournament for wins and losses to get a title shot. She's not doing that stupid shit no more. It's so much better. It's so much of an easier watch.
I think Shuri is adopting the Osprey method. It's like, you may fuck around, but not today. Like,
yeah, man. Like, you know, and also the thing I like about it so much, like, Shuri still gets to keep pace with, like, you know, that average of 4 stars per match. Like, she, you know, you can't be.
You can afford this.
The thing about these tournaments is, like, when you have, like, you know, oh, you wrestle Yano, oh, you wrestle Evil, oh, you wrestle Yujiro. That shit, when you get that 2, you know how hard it is, like, to try to make up for that over the length of the rest of the tournament, to try to keep your average up, to get that 3. That was huge for her to get the 3-3. It was huge. So, next match after that, main event, Tam versus Suzuki, and they had basically the match you expect them to have, except, you know, it went like 12 minutes. I would like them to have teased going towards 15 and having to finish there, but just them kicking each other in the face, them suplexing each other, big swan, or sorry, you know, the big dives or whatever else to the floor, the, you know, tope through the ropes, all that kind of stuff. And at the end, like, just Tam just hit her with a onslaught of, like, suplexes, and then gets her up and hits the violet screwdriver and got the win. I get this 3-3, like, just like for a show that was like on one of the smaller matches or smaller venues on the tour, at least, you know, for as far as like the quality of like top matches, like, they go out with 3 in a row of 3 1/4, 3. It was like 3 3/4, 3 3/4, 3 3/4. I thought, like, solid show. And they didn't, like, you know, it wasn't like they were trying to go out there and have their best matches, but you can still see, like, the quality was there. So, 8-8, like, they came out with something to prove. So, or at least in the last 2 matches anyway. So, or last 3 matches. So, 8-8, Kyoto, KBS Hall, as you mentioned. Momo versus Micah. I gave this match 3.5. This is now, I think, the 3rd time they've wrestled in the Grand Prix. This is the worst match together that I can remember. But it's a lot of the same stuff. Lariats in clubs versus big kicks. And they end up working over Micah's arm. Micah's always has that taped up arm. And, like, Momo went to work on it. And, like, as the match kept going, Momo kept picking on that arm, and Micah kept getting more desperate, and she's like, instead of I don't know why she didn't switch over to the left arm, I don't know, but, like, she kept, like, trying to running lariats with the right arm and would sell the right arm like death, and then she went to go for a lariat. Momo kicked that shit, and like, went to work, head kick, ended up hitting the half and half, for the bridge pin. Micah kicked out, gets her up, hits the tequila sunrise, the pump handle joint, suplex, and gets her with that, gets her out of there, ended up going 3.5. And yeah, just, quality match. Just, I expect more from both of them, seeing it, like, they enjoy wrestling each other. You could tell, especially over the years and on house shows and all that kind of stuff. But it just didn't, this is the worst match I remember them having. So, moving on from there, Julia versus Mariah. Hey, man, I don't know. And this is also, like, this is before the pay-per-view show, right? This is before the pay-per-view. Yeah. Is Mariah the best white woman in wrestling this year? And as far as output, like, I'm sure JD from Red Leaf WrestleCast will be like, what about, somebody that's on the indies like Masha Slamovich or somebody like that, Alex Windsor last year? I don't know, but if we're talking about, like, we're talking about, like, someone that's in AEW, someone that's in WWE, someone that's, like,
Hater went down injured, so, I mean...
You said Jamie injured? Yeah.
She went down injured.
Early, too.
Early.
Yeah.
I don't think Toni Storm really is, a lot of her matches got caught up with the Outcast stuff.
She's had some good matches, but she hasn't had as many as Mariah has.
Right. Yeah, I think so. Deonna Purrazzo is out there.
For those out there that got the match, look, whether it's Keem or whoever else that does the match guy stuff with, like, every promotion or whatever else, I want to see that. Like, I want you to sort by white women and then see.
We need a new space on the chart.
Yeah. Because I mean, it's been a real bad year for white women, and, like, I don't want people to be for white women pro wrestling. I don't want it to be like, oh, James only likes Japanese women's wrestling. Like, no. That's not the case because, like, right now, there's one that stands above them all, and her name's Mariah May. And she wasn't, like, balling like this until recently. But she's balling now. Her and Julia went out there, and they slapped the piss out of each other. They German suplex each other, or they suplex each other around the ring. Competitive back and forth match. Mariah, like she could actually win this. Ultimately, at the end, she caught a Glorious Driver and got pinned. And at the end, Julia went to Mariah and shook her hand.
Man, look,
you know how the kind of progress you gotta make. You know the kind of you gotta make an Austin Reeves type level of progress to get that kind of respect out of Julia. Julia don't shake hands with nobody except for Shuri.
Julia really don't be getting down with the respect. Like, that ain't really her game. Rhea Ripley is a manager for anybody who wasn't thinking of her.
She got one match. What's her third best match this year?
Maybe Lyra Valkyria, people said in NXT, but I don't know. I didn't see it.
All right, yeah. Sierra saying it's a bad year for saying it's a real bad year for white women is crazy. I mean, you're right. I mean, I could say every year, but that's not what I wasn't saying. I wasn't saying that. Just this particular year, they down bad and hurting. That was third from the top. The semi-main event: Shuri versus Natsupoi. Did you see this?
I watched this. I was upset.
This match so fucking good. I gave this 4. I gave this 4.25, and like I rarely go above 4 in the Grand Prix. Rarely. I love this fucking match. This match starts off where with Shuri and Poi, and Poi is trying to mat wrestle with Shuri, and Shuri's outclassing her every step of the way, and then ends up out on the ringside. Eventually, after the first third of it, the second act they end up outside the ringside. And Shuri is about to, do her thing on the floor. And ultimately, like she normally does, it's on the floor. After she's dominated the match, she ends up getting thwarted. And Natsupoi ducked behind her and German suplexed her on the floor mats. And then from there, they get back in the ring and they are brawling back and forth, exchanging elbows. Shuri is getting put off kilter left and right by the high speed and the dynamic moves, and then like the German suplexes start flying, and they start basically at a certain point. For me, I'm like, oh, this is going to time limit draw. The way they're going back and forth. I've seen too many of Shuri's matches. I've seen too much of her work to know this ain't going to time limit draw, but that's okay because Shuri's better at time limit draws than anyone else in the world, and they just keep big move kick out here and there, and you get to a point where it's like, you almost are like, oh my God, is Natsupoi going to put Shuri away with all these big fucking moves, and Shuri gets kicking out of it at the end, and then like Natsupoi, like 5 seconds left, hits the Kofi Kingston SOS, a move she rarely does, and then like she had saved that away and tucked away. I don't think she ever got the fairy strain, the straight jacket, German or whatever, but she hits that one, and Shuri kicks out at 2.999, and then the bell rings right after she got done with the kick. And I was like, like, it was awesome. It was awesome. I think it's the best match of the tournament since opening night.
Really great match. I'm going to have to unfortunately dock Shuri's pay. For not getting the dub here. She did inflict plenty of pain, which
she sure did. She cool. That's another part about this match. Like at the beginning of the match, Natsupoi, when the first time they go out to the floor, Natsupoi goes up for a dive, and Shuri catches her and basically snap mirrors her off the top rope onto the apron, and then immediately after that, Shuri fucking just hits her with these big ass kicks to her back, and Natsupoi selling these kicks like death. They're awesome. Yes. Yeah.
So she did get her commission, but I did have to dock for the non-W there. But I like the match a lot.
Yeah. So the main event of this show was Mayu versus Suzu, and Mayu and Suzu for the second year in a row just go out there and like just basically like pull out all their indie tricks, and the shit works to perfection, and it's so good. And Mayu is basically kind of like taking it to her, like she's selling like crazy for Suzu, for all the stuff Suzu's doing, all her offense, all the striking, and then ultimately like Mayu goes on the comeback, starts hitting her with moves. She escapes like getting hit with the Dolphin Buster and gets the Crucifix Bomb and all that. And then after like Suzu like mounts her final comeback with some kicks, Mayu comes back and is like, "Oh, you just hit me with like 3 big kicks. All right, hold this." Hits her with a fucking buzzsaw kick, and then gets her up and goes for the second stage, for 2-stage dragon suplex, and like Suzu tried to like victory roll out of it to get a near fall or whatever else, caught her between her legs, and then muscled her back up and then dropped her and got the victory. And Mayu then proceeded to troll Suzu and said, "You're really good, but like you got a long time to go for you finally beat the Icon. Do you want to say anything?" And then Suzu was like, basically, "Fuck you," and then rolled out. And
what else do you expect, Suzu? Psychoanalysis with Suzu Suzuki now. So
it was funny. Like the funny thing is, like Suzu was like, "Why are you talking like that? Why are you talking all crazy? Like you got marbles in your mouth when you talk to the crowd. What's wrong with you?" And then Mayu was like, "I'm Mayu Watani. I do what I want." So then Mayu
just understand why it wasn't her. Why was she not chosen?
Oh God. So that was catch you up to 8-8 on the Grand Prix. We'll get you caught up on the rest of the stuff next week. But the pay-per-view, Stardom X Stardom, the unofficial anniversary show of Utami and Kamitani. Like this was the 5-year anniversary for by event anyway for Utami, and also Kamitani would have been her 4-year. The date for them will be 8/10 officially, but whatever. 8, same pay-per-view name. You get it. So, they opened with a 10-person gauntlet, tag match. I'm not going to go through all that. At the end of it, Suzu Suzuki and Mei Sierra won, and I was like, they've been tagging together. They have a unnamed faction together. It's them and Micah chips in from time to time, leads you to believe like she may leave Donna Del Mondo somewhere down the line. Who knows? But this has especially been the case since Himeka has left and retired. And also like the person on the road to shows, Megan Bay's been tagging with that clique. So it's been a lot of fun, and like on those undercard things, I've been checking out to see what Megan Bain does. And basically what she does is, I'm doing all the power spots. I'm not selling shit. I may go down to a knee. I may take one back bump. That's it. Everything else is I'm not selling nothing y'all do. And then at the end, at some point, I am grabbing Mei Sierra and I am gorilla press slamming her over the top rope onto Geeks on the floor. And it gets over every single time. So
there was a spot in this match with Suzu Suzuki and Tekla. I want the match now.
Rich, they're always great together. Remember, like that's Ice Ribbon. That's old Ice Ribbon when they were there. Like, do you like when Prominence had their first match in Stardom? It was Suzu and Risa versus Micah and Tekla, and that's when like Tekla got hit with that second rope Dolphin Buster. That we were both like, what the fuck is that? So yeah, they're excellent together.
All gold, everything. Fugikin Death.
Yes.
Loved it.
I think her name is Billiken Death in that gimmick. Billiken. There's like four, there's four deaths. Yeah. There's Death Yamasan. There's Gokigen Death when she was in Stars. There's Fukigen Death now that she's in Oedo Tai. Now there's Billiken Death. Billiken Death.
Yeah.
I just call her Death to avoid all of that. I ain't got to go through all the gimmicks or whatever else. Yeah. So, moving on from there.
Death will rise.
Say again?
The Death will rise.
Death will rise. Yikes.
Then we got the unofficial Oedo Tai leader match.
Yeah. This is the only Grand Prix match on the card. Starlight Kid versus Nasco Tour. Did you watch this?
I did.
So isn't it refreshing to see Nasco Tour give a fucking try?
Look, I thought this was solid. I was like, man, yo, we gonna have to, we're gonna have to take Nasco off the shit list. She is not liking, the evil Watanabe comparison. She's not liking it this year. I saw this, and Starlight Kid ends up sneaking out to win, and then Nasco has this look on her face like, I can't believe this fucking happened. It was almost like Starlight Kid didn't want to stunt too hard because it was just like, I whooped you, and I would have to whoop your ass again, but we can just leave where it's at,
most of the matches, Kid work from underneath or whatever else, but then she overcomes or whatever else. And obviously it makes the story work better because she's a smaller wrestler and also she's the more popular wrestler. So, they told the story to perfection. It's about as good of a match you're going to get out of, Nasco, aside when Shuri's not around anyway. So yeah, I gave this 3.25 without second thought. Like, I could be talked into 3.5. But yeah, quality match. A more than quality match. Do we need to pull up the Nasco Tour Grand Prix run next to the Evil G1 run?
Because don't do it.
She's far ahead. Don't fuck off. Stay on your job, Nasco. Stay on your job. All right, so high speed match.
Velkez, you up right now? You better send a message to her so don't embarrass you.
Yeah. So I think she's in the leaderboard on the block. She has 6 points, so she's 3-1 now. She's 3-1. So she's not going to win. Velkej after this, he messaged me because I told him look at Nasco, because we were watching live on Sunday morning, and I was like, look at Nasco not being trash. Look at her, and he was like, she's had a great tournament, and and I was like, great's overstated. Great for her is more appropriate context. and then he was like, I think she's in contention. I was like, all right, man, we done with this. We done talking right now. You take the shit too far. You give him an inch, he wants to take a mile.
Is Momo in this block?
No, other block.
Yeah, Velko. You know what final Velko is rooting for. The all-time special.
He's trying to
look, Nasco.
Look, I can tell you this right now. You heard about all these financial stuff that Bushiroad put out. Stardom's doing well. They better continue to do well. You better not put that shit as your G1 or your Grand Prix final.
Look, on the billboards, Momo, Nasco. It rhymes. Send it up.
Yeah. All right. Wait till we see that final night poster. Those will not be big heads on that poster. I guarantee there will not be big heads on that poster.
Sum it up.
So, high speed title match: Saki Ashima versus Kaguma. Kaguma is some new gear.
Loved it.
I think this is Nasco's. I think this is Saki's third defense, or either second or third defense. I'm already over it.
Saki said, I'm keeping my matches under 5 minutes, so you can't even rate them on Cage Match. Get fucked.
It's not that his match was bad, is that what's on the roster, what maybe people have graduated past that belt. There's still a flux of people that could still have quality matches with this, between the smaller or the speedsters that have not won it yet, or are in that division still, or not beyond it, and then also with the new blood talent as well, if you will. And I'm sorry, her having these shitbag matches where she gets her ass whooped, she doesn't want to fight, and the story is obviously she's trying to get assimilated into the culture and the heart that it takes to be in God's eye. I get that. I need y'all to get to it faster because the juice ain't worth the squeeze for me right now as far as me being compelled by this, but.
I gotta say, I'm loving the training montages I'm seeing.
Those are fun.
Pictures.
I need the matches to match up with those, though. I do. I need the matches to be better for me to buy in on this.
Saki just she living her life. psychoanalyzing Sakashima now. Sakashima didn't even think she was gonna be here. She's just like, fuck it. I'm rolling with God's Eye now. Yeah, look, she's like, I'm rolling with Rockefeller, man. Like, I'm rolling with God's Eye. They got money, man. That's what Saki Kashima is doing right now. She's rolling with Rockefeller.
All right, so
Tune in next week for further
Asmos' match. And at the very end, she tries to get her up. I'm like, no, it's not going to be the same fucking thing it always is. Yep, Flash Crucifix pin for the win. Get her out of there.
Tune in next week for further psychoanalysis of Saki Kashima and Suzu Suzuki.
So, during this tour, May Sierra has pinned Saki.
Right.
Ever since like the first show after Saki won the high speed belt, May has asked for a high speed match. I think this is like the third time she's asked. I think it's after every defense. Every single time Saki says no and runs away, tucking tail. She's the only. So May has beat her on the road to. Like the week of this show.
She better bring Megan Band with her.
Comes out, probably should do that next time. Meg comes out, says, hey, I don't know the words were, but it's like, hey, I've been chasing you, you've been ducking me. I just fucking beat you this week. I pinned your fucking shoulders to the mat this week. Can I get my high speed match? Saki walks up to her, shakes her hand, says some pleasant stuff to her, and then after saying that for like 30 seconds, says no and rolls out. The whole crowd fucking dies laughing. I was like, you motherfucker. I get it. They're slow rolling Saki out of scumbaggery. I get it. I understand it. I need the match to be better, otherwise I'm going to say I need May Sierra to get in the ring with her and take the belt off her immediately. Like, if you want to slow roll this until Gold Rush, when that's based on Night of Champions, in the fall, fine. But the match's got to be better if you're going to be doing this. Like, everything else works for me except for the matches. But the matches are killing me. So, that's where I am on it. So, sorry. There you go.
Tag match.
So, next match after that, we get to the good stuff. Rose Gold versus Ano and Poi for the Goddess of Stardom titles. Lots of animosity there. Mina, obviously, recently left Cosmic Angels to start up Club Venus. Mariah used to do spot work with Cosmic Angels. Because of Mina, they formed their own faction. And obviously, a lot of Mina and Natsupoi dates back to who gets most of Tam's love. A lot of that. So they start this match with those two, and it was good. Lots of high speed stuff, and then they quickly tag out, and then you get Sayori and Mariah. Now, they already had their match in the Grand Prix, where they had a very fun match, and Sayori ended up putting away Ano ends up putting away Mariah with like a ridiculous submission that had involved 3 different locks or submissions at the same time, and she had to tap. So they get in the ring, and like Mariah caresses Ano's face, and Ano makes his face like, I like this, I enjoy this. There was flashes of sexual tension in the ring, and then they proceed to then slap the shit out of each other, similar to the Julia match,
which may or may not have added to it, right? Depending on who you ask.
I don't disagree. Right? I don't disagree. Whatever. Whatever their tension or their connection is whatever the connection. All I'll say is it was like, I was like, wait, what's going on here? And then they started beating the shit out of each other, and it was awesome. So then this thing broke down into basically like everybody just started throwing each other on their necks.
Loved it.
Like Ano and Mina, Mina's picked up this backdrop driver, like this big deal, and like she's just dump people on their necks. Dump on her neck. Mariah gets dumped on her neck. Everybody's throwing each other on their necks. It's a suplex party. Like Super Kick Party, it's a suplex party. Everyone's invited. Everyone's doing it. Everyone's getting it done to them. It was awesome. At the end, you end up with Natsupoi in there with Mariah, and Poi ends up putting away Mariah with I believe the straight jacket. The straight jacket ends up getting the win. And Rose Gold, for the people that have looked at, that don't have, that are, I guess, crazy and are still doubting Mina, for the folks that like have seen Mariah coming from day one and don't like how she looks and how she dresses and don't like the character and thinks it's too girly and too unserious and all that kind of stuff. Shut the fuck up. This woman has quality matches left and right all the goddamn time. Sorry. I understand she came in at a certain level or whatever else. She has quickly picked up on the game and acclimated. Like the way she's in there throwing and getting suplex like that on her neck. I'm sorry. She's as much of a starter as anybody else in that goddamn roster, except for maybe Mayu, because she's been there forever. Sorry. She's one of us. One of us. She belongs. She's in there. I'm sorry. Like at this point for me, she's not
getting separated.
Since we have been watching, no, I'm not going to say she's honorary. I'm not doing that. What I was
saying she don't need to be separated.
Oh, you stupid. Yeah. So what I will say is this: in this run, she's been there now for 8 months now. 8 months. She showed up at the Sumo Hall show at the end of last year, right? She, for me, in the era that I've watched Stardom, there are only, even like going back to stuff I wasn't watching and following in real time, the only people that you can say have been better Gaijin performers for Stardom, let's say since 2016, would be Toni Storm, B. Priestley, and Jamie Hayter. That's it. That is all.
Not Brandy Rhodes.
Nope, not Brandy Rhodes, not Bobby Tyler, not Zoe Lucas. No.
Zekumaki. Mina is the Rossi version of Liv. Can't get a long reign for shit.
That's something else that you talked about. So, Mina, she wanted to be on her own. She has had success, but in doing so, while having success and like flourishing as a leader, like there was on the 8-8 show on Undercard, there was a tag match with Mina and Waka versus Azumi and Amasaki, and it's like, you see Waka and you see Amasaki, and you're like, they've improved so much in this year. It's crazy. In like the way that in the exchanges that Mina and Azumi had makes people like, I can't wait for their Grand Prix match because they're in the same block. But back to the lecture at hand. Mina has had success and has been fleeting, and she succeeds until she runs into the people that she left behind, and they kick her ass and they take her belts away. That's the story so far. Do I love this story? Not necessarily, because like Mina has gotten to the point where like she gets something and she does so well with it that you don't mind her being where she is, and then it gets yanked from her. Like, we've been talking about all year WWE.
Last year or earlier this year, they cut her legs off like Mother Joe.
Right. So all throughout the year, we've been talking about like somebody gets to a spot and does a huge spot for WWE, and like the next big show they come up to, they kind of reward them. Where we talk about like Io in Puerto Rico, or Damian Priest in Puerto Rico going to Money in the Bank, that sort of stuff, right?
Yep.
Ricochet, Money in the Bank going to SummerSlam versus Logan Paul. We got to reward Mina for the work she has done this year. She's been great. She's been great. It's unfortunate, but like I look at those three and Mariah and Mina and Waka and seen their growth just from Sumo Hall to now, and it's like
New Japan Strong Women's title.
Whatever, man. It's like the proof of concept is there for their thing. Like they're over. They do the ring announcements for each other. They over as hell. And like Mina's leveled up. like everybody's leveled up in that promotion, in that faction, while also taking their fair share of losses, because like Waka's still there. Waka's still, getting her ass kicked left and right. Like it's really interesting. It's really interesting. But yeah, like Ano,
was
Poi,
really great. I thought this was there are a lot of matches, a lot of tag team matches running around getting praise. I like this one a little bit more.
Yep. What you end up giving it?
I'd probably say like 4.25.
Okay. I went for a flat on it, but
they were folding,
they were
people
flying.
up.
They were flying around. Yeah, they fit more moves in this match than time they had. Like, it was awesome. I prefer matches like that than like, we gotta take them on a ride, brother. Like, you gotta lay down and sell. Get your ass up and fight. Yeah. So, next match after that, the New Japan Strong Women's title, Julia versus Yu.
Whoop that ass.
Speaking of matches where people weren't flying around, speaking of matches where people wanted to tell the story and take them on a ride, I liked this match, but I did not love this match. A lot of this match and it also plays into with this match, like given, what happened with Yu and Nanai in Yokohama Arena versus, the New Eras, and not putting them over and doing a double count out for the title change or whatever else. That also plays into like when they had that match where, Yu slapped the shit out of Mirai at Tag League, like they had some heat. Like, a lot of people were like, all right, we haven't seen Yu since then. We thought she was out the promotion. Like, she never gonna wrestle here again.
Yeah, I was like, shit. Hold on, is Yu in the ring? Like, right. I remember, oh yeah, they did announce Julia versus Yu.
Right. So then they had this match, and what happens? The same thing that people that are detractors of Yu's style have with her, where it's like, she does this thing where like, she doesn't sell, she doesn't sell, she makes her opponents look ineffective. When you don't know that and you're watching, you're like, oh, she's a big hoss or whatever else. When you know, like, the context of this is what she does and she's trying to be like some, Brody Hansen asshole, it affects the way it colors how you view the match. So I'm watching this match and I feel like, in a way that I've never seen it, Julia's getting her ass handed to her. Like, in a way that I haven't seen since like Maya Yuki's handing her ass back in 2019.
I was like, bro, it feels like Julia's like running up a hill, like out here, like we're seeing her like, yo, nah, man. Like,
I've never seen her sell for nobody like that before.
What's up?
I've never seen her sell for nobody like that. Like, being overwhelmed by just the size disadvantage and power disadvantage. Like when Maya Yuki kicked her ass, because she was kicking her ass with strikes in 2019 in that Ice Infinity title match. Like, it wasn't the same level of, it's like, yeah, she's getting her ass kicked because she's literally getting her ass kicked. This was like, she just looks ineffective to this larger, stronger, more honestly, and also more, technically sound woman, but it is what it is. And like, she just selling forever and it's slow and then eventually like, she mounts her run. And, by the end, she ends up putting her in an arm submission. And like, I saw people say that like, it looked like it was a controversial, she didn't tap out thing, but they called it anyway, like a ref stoppage. But like, I saw her shake her head. Yes. Like, I give up.
Yeah. I thought it was a verbal submission. Like,
yeah, same here.
Yeah, I gotta say, I was like rooting for Julia to kick the shit out of Yu. I had not forgot about all that bullshit with the tag belts. But so I was immediately intrigued. I was like, what's the finish of this match gonna look like? So, but yeah, I was into this. I liked how they were very physical with each other, and this was like Julia actually being, it's hard to bully Julia, but she show fight back too. She ain't just, a bully.
Yeah. So I think I gave this 3.5. And like, now I'm like, damn, now I feel like I'm now in that camp of like, people just like, I can't just watch a match in a vacuum. It's like, I'm now stuck in the Joshi politics of this shit. And it's like, when you're not in that shit, you just watch the match and you don't know how people get down with that kind of shit. You just watching like, these matches is like, it's fun. They're no selling. It's awesome. They're hype up and whatever else. But when you find out about this shit and like you hear it over and over and over, now it's like, oh, okay. So yeah, that affected me. But like, if you're watching this in the vacuum, you might think this thing might be 3 3/4 or whatever else. But I just gave it 3.5, and like, you know, it was kind of slow for the longest match on the card, or the longest non-gauntlet tag match on the card. It went 19 minutes. It didn't need to go that long. It could have went 16. Could have went 15. But never mind that though. The IWGP Women's Championship match: Mayu Iwatani versus Utami Hayashishita. This match was great.
Real hip hop.
Yeah.
Some of these German suplexes in this match.
Yeah.
Like,
dangerous.
This ain't Brock Lesnar throwing people so they can fall and roll. Yeah. Nah. This was like, fold your ass like an accordion.
Yep. Like, I really like, this is more in fitting with the Red Belt title change match they had in 2020, whereas like, Utami is overpowering and stomping a mud hole into Mayu's back, and then Mayu has a bad back and has to try to figure out how to fight back. I feel like this match was, I think that match was better, but I like this match about as much. I'm still in about the same range. Like, I think I stopped short of giving that 4.5. I give this 4.25. Really fun match. And then the finish is sensational. Mayu pulls out the triple jump, reverse Rana that she does maybe once or twice a year. And, only does it on Momo or Io Shirai. Now the third person she's ever done it with is Utami, which is, you know, big praise. Like, I trust you not to break my neck. So, shout out to Utami. And, I have another point about this, but I'll connect it with after the main event. But, yeah, just,
I thought they were going to go to a draw here or something, but I was pleasantly surprised we got a finish on that.
Can't get out that match because IWGP has 60-minute time limits, brother.
Yeah. So, yeah. Someone got to pin the shoulder.
There's no easy way out.
Mayu wins it with like a sick, like, poison Rana off the top rope, jump backwards. And I was like, wow. I was shocked at the finish there. But yeah, this ruled.
Yeah. So then the main event, Tam Nakano defending the red belt against the Megasis, Megan Bayne.
I told you it was all gonna work out.
Rich,
told you Megan Bayne was straight.
Rich. When you said that, what, you know, you and JD from Red Leaf said, like, she's fine, she's quality or whatever else, right? Like, all right. Then I watched the Road 2 matches, and I don't even watch her action when she's in the ring during these tags as I'm skimming through, and I'm just watching her, and it's like, oh, she's just gonna no-sell everything, to be a big immobile monster. Okay, cool, fun. So, I pulled up the cage match, saw the cage match, I was like, she's okay. She looked like she's okay. She's not incompetent by the looks of the cage match. Whatever. We'll see what happens. Tam Nakano put on a fucking clinic. She sold and bumped her ass off for this gigantic woman who to be fair, had awesome execution of all of her big moves at big points, all of it. And great timing for all of it. This match, now you talked about Brock Lesnar and Cody.
I thought this was like Sting and Vader.
Rich, it's funny that you brought it up for the match before, because my thought was, like, we just had Cody and Brock Lesnar just do 3 matches of David versus Goliath. They all had different finishes, and the last one was the best one. People like it or whatever else the most, right? And I was thinking while I'm watching this, Tam Nakano and this motherfucker that I've never seen until a month ago just wiped their asses with Brock Lesnar versus Cody Rhodes. This match is everything that match is, but with pacing, with great selling, great visual acting, with like dynamic moves, like different power moves as opposed to the same fucking German over and over. Crazier high spots. This match was incredible. Look, Megan dominates her.
You know, Tam she threw over the top rope. I might have to send Megan a bonus. You know.
Yeah. Like, so watching the undercard stuff when Megan was throwing Sierra out to the floor on top of people, I thought to myself, I know Tam, she's a psychopath. Megan's gonna throw her over the top, gonna real press slam her over the top rope. She's gonna fall right on the mat. Sure enough, like 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes into the match, does the big bump, hear the huge thud, everyone's gasping. Oh, I was like, this move ain't too different from like the Tommy and Tam spot from the Grand Prix 2 years ago. On the final night of that show. It's similar. She's not afraid to do this because she's insane. So that happens. Ultimately, I'm gonna get through all this. Tam basically cuts down the tree with calf kicks in the leg and all in the hamstring, also trying to tighten her up, trying to make her take her off base. But like Megan,
can you knock this giant down?
Yeah, Megan is a movie monster. Just won't go down. It takes for Tam forever to cut the tree to finally get her to bump. And like there is like spinning power bombs. There's a choke bomb in this. Like in Megan's move, her finish is it's F5. She dropped Tam with that when she first showed up and left Tam on the floor for like minutes on end. She's won every match with the F5 on the house shows, everything, and it puts people away. Tam fought out, got put up on her shoulders for that move 3 different times. She kicked out of it 2 different times, or kicked out and wiggled out and do other stuff to get her out of it. And then the last time when she hit the F5, the whole crowd, no, I didn't think for a second, but the whole crowd was looking around like, oh my God, this belt's coming back to America. Oh no. Tam kicks at 2.999. The whole crowd loses it. So, I think there's another powerbomb attempt at some point. Tam does a fucking Hurricane Rana. She's on the Lucha Tings now. Like, Luchador Tam Nakano. Tam hits her with the flurry of bicycle knees. And then Tam gets this gigantic Goliath of a woman, this Amazonian, gets her up after trying the German suplex woman and nothing, couldn't budge her. Gives this woman this gigantic high arching German suplex, and Megan falls on her neck and like drops on her neck on a neck bump and then falls in half like she's a high speedster. I was like, holy shit. Gets her up again, hits her with the Twilight Dream. I'm sorry, not the Twilight Dream, but the Tiger Suplex, and gets the win and gets out of there 4 flat stars. I can't remember the last time a match over-delivered for me in this kind of way, where I was like, I see the match announced and I'm just like, oh my God, this bullshit. And then by the end, I'm just like, yo, this was a great fucking match.
Shout out to the Megasis.
Shout out to Shout out to Tam Nakano. They look, and also shout out to Rossi, because like, you know, like I said to you, like after the Kamatani injury or whatever, so I was like, look, man, Tam's in this formula thing of like doing all this shit on the outside with the ramp runs for the bicycle knees and doing these dives off of the top of ramp of a scaffolding and jumping off the balcony at Sumo Hall and shit in these big matches. And like, you know, Kamatani did that shit and dislocated her elbow. She's kind of got to get herself out of that. And like, sure, you know, this was already planned because she showed up the same day, but like the plan was to give her a giant for her to topple. And this shit was fun as hell. And like, it adds variety. Like, this was one of those shot in the dark matches for the red belt that like people have and it works out and you're just like, okay. So like, this kind of like her, like that Shuri anniversary show match against Mariah when Mariah just got there. You're like, this is a shot in the dark. This person completely unproven here. And let's see what they do. And like, they had a match. He was like, I'm happy I saw that match. I'm happy they put it on. So yeah, this, you know, for a C-tier pay-per-view in the middle of the Grand Prix, when they had a house show the day before, they gave me 4 quality matches.
Yeah, this was solid.
This was solid. This was solid for a C-level pay-per-view for them. So like, I don't know when the next pay-per-view is. I think it may be the beginning of, I think it's September 3rd. Or no, there's actually that pay-per-view that's the tag thing. Oh, I forgot what date that is.
Zach Mike brings up a good point. He said if Megan didn't get hurt, she would have blown up earlier. Yes, she's off a torn ACL, I believe, maybe about a year and a half ago.
Ah, okay.
And she was like her trajectory was like they were giving her full entrance when she was doing AEW Dark, so like there was something there, but I don't know the status on that anymore. But like, you know, she's probably made herself a hot commodity.
If you see that match, take the part where like it's Tam, whatever else. You see that match, you see a woman of that size with those power moves, whatever else. Like, bro, I like it's not the same things. They weren't doing the same thing, but like it made me think of like watching like Mike Awesome versus Masato Tanaka. But obviously, it's not nearly as crazy as that. But it's like just watching this gigantic white person wrestle this smaller Japanese person, and like they're just doing power moves, and it's awesome. So yeah, like that's what I thought of. Their matches aren't similar at all, but it just made me think of that for some strange reason. But yeah, if you know, I see that if I'm Tony Khan, if I'm in AEW, if I'm W, and I see that match, I'm going to check on her paperwork. I'm going through back channels to check on her paperwork to see if she signed, you know, for a tour for a certain number of dates for Stardom. When is it over with? And then
they all know about her already. Like
AEW already knows, but I'm saying like if you are a person that's quote unquote scouting the talent, meaning I'm watching Stardom like I have Triple H the last 6 years, I'm bringing her in. I've signed every other fucking gaijin they've ever brought in, damn near. So yeah, like that's it. That's the end of the Stardom run or whatever else. We'll get back to the rest of the Grand Prix stuff from 10, 8, and on for what they have available come next week. But yeah, a lot of Stardom, a lot of quality stuff, and like the matches still be matching, man.
Yeah, man. It was a cool pay-per-view to watch, and it was like you know,
easy to watch. It went by pretty fast.
Easy to watch, and it was like seeing a lot of people kind of in situations I wanted to see them in. I had a strange excitement for this match. I was like, all right, it'll just be different, like with Tam and Megan Bayne.
Yeah.
I wanted to see Mayu and Utami because obviously they're like two of the best.
Yeah.
Julia and you, I didn't realize that was happening until the bell had rang, but you know, it put Julia in kind of an unfamiliar situation. The tag match, like we said, was
a blast.
A blast. I liked Sakashima and Kaguma because, like, you know,
you like unserious wrestling at times. Yes.
Yeah, I could use some of that sometimes. And then, you know, yeah, I was into it.
Yeah. Anything else, or are we done?
I think that's it, man. So yeah man, we gave y'all pre-show and 3 hours and more CM Punk shit. Jeez, who doing it like your boys?
Yeah, so that's in the show. Be sure to rate us on wherever you're listening to this with. If you are watching from the stream, you can go to the Cash App and the PayPal to donate there. If you're listening on the podcast, you can go to the show notes or show description and go to the red circle link there and donate there. And be sure to listen to other shows on the network. Besides One Nation Radio, you have Keepin It Strong Style, the Ricky and Clive Wrestling Show, Grown Watches Shit, The Grave Consequences, 8-Bit Suplex, All Things Elite, Great Match Generator, Get in the Ring, and what is the fourth one? Damn it.
Wrestling Disaster.
The Wrestling Disaster. I pulled up my show notes. I haven't wrote the Wrestling Disaster, and I'm going to add it in there. I never look at the show notes. I'm actually going to the show notes and get it right, and I was like, I fucked it up. Next week will be the chase, the race towards perfection. We will get it right with the plugs next week. I promise. I'm going to add this in now. But, thanks for listening, y'all. Later.
Peace.